Welcome to Season 7 of True Blue Conversations with your host, Adam Bloom. Real talk with those who pledge to keep us safe with grit, sacrifice and determination. Let's get on with the show. This episode of True Blue Conversations is proudly brought to you by Loudon Private Wealth, the team trusted by professionals, veterans and families across Australia to build real long-term financial security. If you want to take control of your finances, protect your future and build real generational wealth, Loudon Private Wealth are the people you want in your corner. They don't do gimmicks, they don't do hype, just smart strategy and honest advice, coupled with real-world experience. Check out the links in the description to contact Warren and the team via loudonpw.com.au or 02 8313 0418. Now let's get back to the show.
G'day, welcome back to True Blue. Today I'm coming to you live from Sydney and I've got a good mate of mine who I've been talking to, we've been mates for a while now, and he was a bit hesitant at first to come on the potty and I understand why, but eventually persistence got there and I've got him on, and he had a very distinguished career and started out in the blue one, so did a bit of time in 1 RAR and then went down the SF route and did some time in 4 RAR Commando before they transitioned over to the 2nd Commando Regiment, and had a very distinguished long career and did all the things in SF, and it's an absolute privilege to record down here in Sydney at his house and have him on. So, Kurt Ludke, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me, Adam, and welcome to my jungle-esque home in Lane Cove.
Mate, it's an absolute honour, mate, to have you on. So, mate, as I mentioned, we started, we'll get into your military career a little bit later, but mate, let's go back to a young Kurt. What was life like as a young fella? What were you, what did you get up to as a young fella?
Yeah, well, early days, I was probably the only male Kiwi to migrate to Australia that never actually threw a Gilbert around. I grew up, obviously born in New Zealand, the oldest of three younger siblings.
North Island or South Island, mate?
Just off the coast of Antarctica, in a sleepy little town called Invercargill.
Invercargill, yeah. from the Indian, mate. Bert, what was his name?
Not Reynolds.
No.
That's short shorts.
No, Bert...
Anthony Hopkins played him.
Yes, in the world's fastest Indian.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up. Yeah. Hang on, you keep talking, mate. I'll look that up.
Yeah, so I remember very fond memories of New Zealand, rolling snowballs home from school to the size of me, leaving on the side of the road for some car to rip through, and then starting a game by the time I walked home. Mum and Dad had a knitwear business, so the old school running a train caboose over 1,000 needles to make a cable knit jumper for all the Japanese tourism that was there, and then the Australian Kiwi government brought in GST, and it pretty much shut down all the tourism for a couple of years. So the knitwear business went into insolvency. Dad had a wool classing ticket, so basically throwing the fleeces onto a slab, assessing whether it's good for mattresses or making linens, etc. And he came over for 3 months prior to the rest of the family relocating to the wheat belt in Western Australia.
Yeah, right.
Which is a different experience if you ever lived remotely. And then we came over with Mum, all 4 boys, in a plane with suitcases, and started again out in regional Western Australia in a town called Merredin.
Yeah, right. And that was Bert Munro.
Bert
Munro. So I just looked that up. So, yes, the world's fastest Indian.
And how he spoke in the movie is exactly how my grandfather spoke, because it's very Scottish... Scottish origins in Invercargill, so all the R's are rolled and they all walk with a wide bow-legged grace like they've been sitting on a horse for 3 days and they've just been down to the shop to get a litre of milk,
Yeah, right. So you move over, you come to WA, mate, and is that a shock like moving over to, you know, from your homeland to come to Australia, and what was that like? How were you received at school? Was it like, he's got a Kiwi accent?
Yeah, I still have a Kiwi accent when I get on the sauce. The Burt Munro R's come out, and people will go, "Are you Kiwi?" Oh, fuck, it's come out again. Yeah. So as I was 10, I'm 45 as of 2 days ago. So
Happy birthday,
thank you, mate. Thank you. The knees they still crack getting out of bed, so it's not getting any easier. Yeah. Coming in for kids adapt really quickly because it's you have to. You don't have that historical knowledge of where you come from. You're not leaving your family. Yeah, we left our grandparents behind, but I was 10. So myself and my brother Aaron, who's 3 years younger, we've got memories of our grandparents, but the 2 younger kids don't. So you adapt. But mum and dad would have found it really hard. And within a year of us being here, dad's mum passed away, and then Dad's dad passed away, and then so he went back and forward a couple of times, and that's what happens as the olders fall off the perch and the new ones come and take the reins, right? So it's harder for adults to adapt versus children. But school I threw myself into. There's something like, we all know our education system is pretty shoddy right now, overpriced, under-delivered.
Yes.
I came over knowing how to cursive write and stuff like that, whereas year 4 in Australia and WA at the time, they were still printing, and so basically I had to like step back and then step forward, and we relocated out of Merredin to Dad became a farmhand, and then he went into the mines in Bullfinch, which is out near Southern Cross. For the listeners that don't know the area, Merredin's in between Kalgoorlie and Perth, 300 k's east. You drive through Merredin. It's got a chicken treat, a great big water tank, and a museum with about 3 Huey airframes in there. Southern Cross is another hour or so up the freeway, and it's an open pit mine, and then it's got a couple of smaller sister mines attached to that, as a bit of a drive out. So we'd walk a kilometre up the dirt track to go catch a school bus into school, and you see wedge-tailed eagles smashing lambs or flying beside the bus as you're driving to school. It's a different experience, but it was good because I think most men that do what I did, you have a certain level of like recklessness and probably undiagnosed ADHD. So mum and dad with 4 young boys, mum would just open up the fly screen door and say, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
And we'd go running through the bush, hitting wasp nests with bloody sticks and pooping in creeks and stuff like that.
Oh, mate, you couldn't do that today.
No, come back at lunchtime. There was a reason we went regional, I think, because 4 of me would have just... I can't even deal with my 3-year-old now. Like, I use a carbon copy of me, I was going, oh, Jesus, my poor parents.
But I think, too, what it shows, mate, and I grew up... I'm 10 years younger than you, and I grew up in that time too of childhood back in the 80s, 90s was a great time because your parents said, you're out at 9 o'clock in the morning, you're out in the bush, you're building cubby houses, you were building dirt jumps, you were doing things, and the only thing that my parents said was make sure you're home when the street lights are on. That was it for dinner.
Correct.
And you go in the bush, and like I was talking about it the other day at work with a couple of guys, and I'm like, how I didn't die, because you go into stormwater drains, you go down to creeks, you go and swing off swings off cliffs. And
you're lashing 44 drums and sticks together, making rafts to go out on dams and stuff.
That's right.
You can't do that in a built-up area. You've got to live country, and you learn quickly what your boundaries are, and then how to push said boundaries, and then reset your boundaries. And you get that from running around the scrub and being loose. Yeah.
It's, kids today, I mean, you're a father, I'm not. It's a different world now that we live in. It's very, very woke, very political correctness now is a thing, and it's, I think we grew up in a better time. I really, and every generation says that, I grew up in, but I actually genuinely think we actually had a really good time in
Millennials are the best generation because we grew up from being taught from parents that had zero tech. My mum grew up in a mud hut in New Zealand, like chicken wire, and they lashed the mud onto the chicken wire, and 4 kids were in there, and they extended their house that way in New Zealand. So from going from that sort of those hardships in life to where we are now, where I am living in Lane Cove in Sydney with a beautiful family, and the transition and in introduction of tech. So we didn't grow up with mobile phones. I joined the army when all our orders and daily activities were written on a notebook and handed into the platoon sergeant, and off you go. Whereas now it's all driven by computers, and everyone's got a mobile phone in their hands. No one talks to each other. Boozer parades aren't boozer parades anymore.
Yeah,
it's all
who am I talking to outside?
Correct.
And you made a good point. You touched on
humanity's lost, basically.
It is, and you just said it, mate. That millennials, we grew up in the start of technology. Like kids today wouldn't know the old dial-up internet and if someone pulled the phone off the hook, that was it. You mid conversation in MSN or something, and boom, gone. And it's like, and phone boxes, like you 1-800 reverse, so you wouldn't get the call charged to you, and you charge the receiver.
As the transition goes from records to cassettes to CDs
to Discman,
to MP3s to now everything's on your phone via app.
That's right. And
when we've lived through all of it.
Yeah, and we've adapted, and like kids today, mate, their iPad blows up or something, and they go, "It's the worst thing in the world."
I've got to use my head.
Yeah,
I haven't used my head. What do I do? Let's throw a tantrum. Oh, your kid's got ADHD. Put them on meds. No,
that's right.
Challenge your children.
And that's different time. So you go through school, mate. You threw yourself into it, and then where does the idea to join the army come from? Because did you have any family members that had served?
My grandfather, so Dad's dad, was in World War II. He was the medical officer's driver, so essentially the World War II stretcher bearer.
Yeah, wow.
Did the withdrawal through Crete, Syria and Greece. I've forgotten the book that it was in, but I did come across when I was doing some research about 10 years ago. He and another fella, I think it was it Crete, the final pull out?
Yes.
They went out on the source the night before. Missed their cut-off time to be back at base, and racing down the gantry to jump back on the ship as it's sort of just about to pull out, and so they had a little restrictions of privileges on their long trip home back to New Zealand. But that's my family history there, and footnote in history of just being a typical Anzac, a bit of a larrikin on the sauce.
Yeah, mate, yep.
But my granddad, because I was 10 years old, he wouldn't have talked to me about that at all. The Returned Services League over in New Zealand was quite heavy back in the 80s, because it was only 40 years on, obviously. So that was my family footprint in the Defence Force, but that didn't have any implication to me serving. I wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah, right.
Because I was very good at sport, and because I lived regionally, we didn't have TV for a year and a half at one place we lived in. So for cool things for Kurt to do on holidays, I'd take an extra math book home, and I'd do a whole math book by myself, like a whole term's worth of math, of algebra and stuff. I'd do all that myself. Didn't retain it from my MBA a few years later, but math is like bayonet fighting. It's a perishable skill. You've got to keep your training up, otherwise you learn how to in out on guard.
That's right.
So I was very good at school, Dux level, very good at sport. I'm going, you know what, this is what's needed to be a pilot. And then the school nurse came around, did those dot pictures, and she's going, oh, you're colourblind. You can't be a pilot. And so I took this person of authority at her word. I've gone, okay, well, I can't be a pilot. I don't even need school anymore. Bounced out after year 11. Went down to the lowest level of all math, science, and English, just to hang around my school friends.
Yep.
Bounced out of that. Went to Chicken Treat, which is like, for those on the East Coast, is like Red Rooster, only better. The chicken's juicier. Did that for a couple of years until I was 17. They offered me the assistant managership of the Meriden lot at 17, and then I had my application to join the army go through 1901.
Yes, yeah, the old days, mate.
Yeah, called up,
internet.
Told mum and dad about it. They're going, yeah, cool, like, it's a career. I said, look, this is what it is. This is how much money you get, blah, blah, blah. And they're going, yeah, cool, do your thing. And
no six figures in those days,
No, it wasn't. No, you earned your dollars. You got paid little, and you didn't make it last either. Chose the Defence Force. Dad drove me up to Perth to do the fitness assessment to get in. I think I was like 59 kilos or something.
So it's just ringing wet.
Ringing wet. I was all ribs and small dick. Not much has changed except you don't see my ribs anymore. Then past that, and about 6 weeks later, I was on the plane to Melbourne. Second ever plane trip ever since migrating to come to Melbourne to go to Kapuki's to Moo 22 and throw myself into that.
So you join up in 1998, and what do you remember of your time at Kapuki? Because, as I said, political correctness didn't exist back then. Was there like beasting, and was it shock and awe in your face that you can remember?
You see the movies on TV, like the Marines, the drill sergeants, and like
Platoon, and
Australians can't do it as well as the Yanks. The Yanks got 300 years of gunfighting, right? So they know how to beast. But there was a lot of yelling. There was a lot of sense of urgency. There was a lot of remodelling, and that's the whole intent is to just
break you down,
put the pressure on, squeeze you a bit, make you grow, strip you down, build you back up. I just remember just getting through it. Like, selection is a completely different beast, but back then it's just, okay, like, this is what they have to do. You just do what you can, do the best you can, off you go. I actually really enjoyed it.
Because you were 17 at that point?
Yeah, I was 17.
So were you shaving at that point, or did you learn to shave
I was shaving with the backside of a razor, not the sharp side. And then because of Kapuka and Singo, actually forced my luscious curly chin locks to come through quicker than they're supposed to.
Yes. And now you've grown a beard, mate, like I have, because you're just sick of shaving.
I'm sick of shaving, yeah, that's right. No, I did have... was the paddle pop line I was called over in Afghanistan because my beard grew thick and my hair went crazy.
Right.
One of the platoon commanders, Spears, he would go a little bit off track, but I blocked the sun out standing in front of him one day. He's gone, mate, you look like the paddle pop lion. I've gone,
for the young kids, that was an ad on the. It used to be on the old paddle pops were a good.
They're still around. But
they are. Right.
But everything's chopped top now.
Anyway,
let's go back to Kapuki. So did all that. I really enjoyed the fitness because my essentially pre-season for the army was playing 2 games of football a week and maybe some strength and conditioning. Swimming wasn't a big thing, so that really that was a not that you do that much in a 6-week program because back then they were just trying to boost numbers into all the infantry regiments, all the fighting regiments, and then the ownership of training would go on to the receiving battalion. Let's just give you the basics. Basically, all they took out of Kapuka was your drill section and your week's leave in the middle. So they took a lot of fluff out that wasn't required to teach you the basics to be a soldier. And that's Kapuka. It's just teaching you how to be a soldier, how to roll your socks up in a smiley face, how to march in a straight line, how to take orders and understand.
Make your bed with hospital corners.
Understand there's a chain of command and like what's asked of you, you do. And if there you don't question.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between the standard and the tip of the spear. Like,
was that 12 weeks back then?
No, it was 6.
Oh, it was 6 weeks.
Yeah, and so. I did that in 98.
Did you bring the family over for your pass out?
We didn't. We came over with suitcases, bro. So it's always been me.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad didn't have the funds to do anything. Just raising 3 boys on a single income, right? It's always been me, just solo running.
Yeah.
Went from Kapuka, that was July. So we're talking mid-September to Singo, 3 days off. All the boys went out on the piss and Prod 17-year-old Kurt was left in the barracks at Capion platoon, just sitting there going, "Well, this is great. I've got no TV. There's no brew. Actually, there was a brew room. The Sallyman Hut or something like that. The Digger James. I think it's a Digger James Hut or something like that at Singleton, where you could go and watch TV and eat some snacks and stuff. So that was me for 3 or 4 days before Singo started, and that was another 6-week.
Yeah, right. Section. What was that like? Because most guys I've had on say that Kapuka was just Kapuka, but Singo was where you're actually starting to do for real what an infantryman does.
Correct.
Yeah. What was that like?
Correct.
Was that tough?
So you think of Kapuka was your barracks driven instruction of being a soldier. Singleton was your bush. So Singo, like Singo is where you train infanteers to be infanteers.
Yeah, right.
You're doing all your pack work. You're doing all your team bonding. You're learning how to do the said bayonet assault courses and OBS courses, and basically learning how to live out of your pack and what's required of you. Getting up early, going to bed late, staying up through the night doing pickets, and like just the daily routine of being a soldier out the field, and then little bits of navigation here and there. Just again, 6 weeks. You can't teach soldiers that much in 6 weeks, with the expectation that 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, or 5/7 will take the ownership of the little bit to get you Private P or 343-3, I think it was, your ECN back in the day. They'll take that burden on. So just get as many people through, fill the empty beds at the regiments, and then off we go. Did
you get a choice of where you wanted to go?
Actually, we did, but again, because it's just me, regional WA had no idea. Merredin was the biggest town I grew up in. That was 3,000 people back in the day, which isn't that much. And then I just said, look, send me wherever. And they sent me up. Most of us actually went to, we had a sister platoon at Singleton, and they basically split us up between 1 and 2 RAR, and I think maybe 6 people went to 3 RAR.
Okay.
That was it. So out of, let's say 80 people as a complement, most of it went to the Northern Battalions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And what was it like getting to Townsville, mate? Because, Perth can be hot.
Yeah.
Townsville's hot. What was that like? And
Townsville's hot, but Townsville's steamy.
Humidity.
Humidity's a bitch, man.
Yeah, so
anyone can do heat, but you add humidity to the mix, and
wow. So
spare me.
So you get to what RAR, mate, and because to highlight for our non-military listeners, you joined when we're in peacetime.
Yeah.
That would change, and that would change in a couple of years' time. And, the bubble hadn't gone up yet for East Timor. Yeah. You're joining at peacetime. What's happening at battalion when you get to 1 RAR?
Battalion was still doing so we got up there in October, and basically the battalion was starting to spool down for Christmas leave, for the 6 weeks off. So we got pulled into the platoon. They basically ran us through, allotted us to different platoons and sections, and then our days were spent catching up the training shortfalls that Singo missed. So different weapon systems. In Singo, we basically got taught the Steyr and the grenade, and I think the 66. I think that was it on the M79, because we didn't have the underbarrel at that stage.
Right.
So you had the wombat gun smacking you in the back of the head every time you hit the deck. Got up to Townsville, and that was still wombat gun, but we went through other your crew serve weapons, not crew serve, but your F89, your Mag 58, and other bits and pieces here and there. But then the battalion went into stand down, and because we'd only been in for 4 months at that time, we didn't have much leave. So I think we had 7 days off over the Chrissy period, so I got to come back. But leading up to that, and then leading on the back half of that leave period, we're doing the area beautification. So we are literally chipping hedges, chipping gutters with e-tools and machetes, and then literally painting rocks and area beautification just to give us shit to do, because the battalion's gone to the skeleton crew maintaining the administration, and we're literally doing, are you going to paint rocks? No, we did paint rocks. Yeah. So that was my lead into full-time military up at the big blue one. Was here's all your kit, here's your shitty counter paint on your little cyclone-worthy university barracks. See you at 7 o'clock and bring your e-tool with you.
Not exactly what you were thinking when you joined.
No, it wasn't. And because I was a little weedy 17-year-old, everyone said, you're going to get bashed when you get to the regiment. You're going to get thumped, and every kid does, because you're 17 though. You haven't even built your proper neural pathways.
Still going through puberty, mate.
Great, I was still shaving with the back of a razor. Some guys did some dumb stuff, getting out on the cans, and they'd come back and trash rooms. And one particular corporal thought it was me that broke into some dude's room and bailed me up while I was mopping the bathroom floors for 7 o'clock parade. And no, it's not me. And then I basically hid in my room doing puzzles. Turned 18, I hid in my room for another 2 months doing puzzles because I didn't want to get thumped. And because I was the youngest, I had to carry the platoon flag everywhere we went. If we went outfield, if we had a sporting function, I had to carry that with me. I had to put it up and down every morning and night.
Yeah, right.
Any infraction was a carton. And I couldn't drink said carton, but I'd still have to pay for the cartons. I got a bit jack of it up towards that 3-month mark I'm talking about. Bought a bottle of spirits for the guys, and one of the big dudes has gone, "Where's the Coke?" I said, "Well, I bought you a bottle. You've got money. Buy your own Coke."
Oh.
Went into the room, did the puzzle, come out, and he's waiting for me in the hallway and just thumped me. And I remember like wanting to punch him back, but I was like a sweetie little 18-year-old. I've gone. Then my brain's gone chain of command, authority, all that sort of stuff. Just let it go. And I think I saw the whites of his eyes, like he realised he was a corporal. And he just punched a new digger as well. He's just gone, "Oh, I'm in a bit of trouble here." So just let it go. But I went into my room, looked at my puzzle, going, "You've just wasted 3 months, bro. You could have got this done and dusted 3 months ago. You could have bonded with your platoon a lot better. You could have been doing what everything's expected." So the moral of the story there is take the experiences, good and bad, as soon as you can and learn from them rather than just trying to push them away.
Yeah.
So, then leave happened. Did the standard. We do leading up to Timor. We do the Tully trips. We do the high range trips. Lots of barracks training. Lots of kit inspections. Just basically keeping the guys busy, upskilling, first aid courses. Lots of guys. Back then, it was you've got to earn your stripes before you move upwards within the regiment. So the only courses you get within the first 2 years would be your driver's course or your first aid course and things like that. And then year 3, you'd pretty much be looking at getting a support company course, your mortars, recon, snipers, SIGs, heavy weapons, that sort of stuff. And then you do a year of time there, and then you do promotion courses. Whereas now, I think of the era of General Cosgrove, it's every soldier will do a promotion course as soon as possible. Well, that's done. It's watered down your leadership pool, right? Yeah, it's cool that you know how to public speak and run people on a drill square, but you don't know how to do your job properly. So that's the era the 90s kids grew up in. Not learn your job, take your lashes, take your licks,
do your job well,
yes.
and then reward comes after that.
And then merit comes. Yeah, reward comes with merit.
Correct.
Not just do the courses and you'll get promoted regardless, because we need that position.
Entitlement today, mate, is very different compared to what it used to be. And I was brought up you shut up, you do your job, you do it well, and then reward comes if you've done your job well.
Yeah.
And these days, kids, and I'll say this, kids, they are kids, they want to be CEO of a company at 20 without life experience. Like, go and get some life experience and then come back to me in 10 years' time or, even longer. So that happens, mate. And so do you get your first deployment to East Timor in this time?
Correct.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
So we were, I was spooled up to be the lead regiment into Timor as soon as it kicked off. But then a handover period to TRAR for your deployment cycle of regiments happened, and 6 weeks came over. We'd done 3 months of lead up training of language skills, first aids, anything you could think would be a little extra tool in the kit bag to help your deployment over in East Timor. One RAR did it. And then there was a disagreement of personality with the higher leadership group, with the brigadier, and instead of just saying, "No, one RA you're going," they sent 2 RA over with no lead up skills whatsoever. So 2 RA really got, both regiments got shafted basically for that. So I think we ended up being 3rd or 4th in the order of rotation, and we went over in Christmas 2000.
Right.
So we did a 7-month deployment overlapping Christmas there. So there was a return of there was a ROCL in that period where everyone came back to Australia or wherever their next of kin was addressed. I went over as the 10th section of Alpha Company. So we've got, each platoon has 3 sections. 3 sections is 9. We made a composite team section up of 9 dudes, so that when one section was lifted up and sent back on ROCL, we'd superimpose into that platoon.
Yeah, right.
And just blister on, and the platoon would have run seamlessly because we're all part of the one company, same training. So we were kicking around. We did some cool stuff. Yeah, we did slot into lots of other platoons, but then we also did a lot of cool stuff trying to interdict smugglers and stuff in SRVs back in the era 2000. That was a cool looking car. Still a cool looking car.
Yeah,
Then it's like, look at this power steering at 110. Oh, this is amazing. So we do a lot of chasing after the lorries as they're trying to bring legal tobacco or whatever they're bloody trying to bring in across from Indonesia. We'd be chasing after them and going out in the middle of the night and laying in ambushes and stuff like that, which was hard as a 18, 19-year-old, like trying to run through the day and then stay up through the night. I actually got my ass kicked because I didn't keep myself awake at night. Yep. Put my hand up, take your licks. Didn't do too well on that. But this is how we learn.
Absolutely. And
I think am I hearing something? Oh, I think I can hear better with one eye closed. Oh, I can. And once you're in your head, see you later.
Because you were over there, so you were after, so 99, you'd come after the Interfet. So
right.
were you Untayet?
Yeah, Untayet.
Untayet, yeah. So I always get them, Interfet, Untayet, whatever the other one was.
Yeah, it went from transition from yellow hat to blue hat, basically. So there's a lot of Smurfs running around East Timor at the time. So basically everywhere an Australian little operational base was, there'd be a UN crew, Pakistani lads or something like that, building a bridge or doing some sort of infrastructural maintenance or rebuild around.
So you're just keeping the peace,
not even looking after them. We're just going around like shaping operations. Mainly keeping the peace, because by that stage they're all done and dusted. Like 2 years in, because it's malicious skirmishing. So it runs hot. It runs very hot for a short amount of time, and it burns itself out. So
what was that like though? The mindset of carrying live ammunition, you're on patrol, like this is, it's all stepping stones to where you'd end up.
Correct.
19.
Yeah, so I was saying to earlier about the neural pathways of a young man don't really sink in until 25. I was a shit digger. I'll put my hand up and say, like, your premier position in a section is your lead scout. You're the eyes of the platoon. So I started at that, and systematically got bounced back through all the positions to RCN Arnold, because I was just meandering through life. I didn't know what was going on. Bit of isolation as well. Like, performed very well when it came to physical stuff, like any assault courses, the footy field, like, came into my own there. But in work aspect, it just wasn't ticking the boxes for me. When we went to Timor, that was went through the motions there as well. And my brain didn't really click in until we got back.
Well, retrospectively, you're a kid. You're 19 years old.
Correct.
Like, and lead scout position, I think back to when I was 19, mate. You give me authority, like a position of power or responsibility. Yeah, mate, I blew it off. Yeah. Like, most 19-year-olds are interested in drinking piss with their mates and chasing girls.
Chasing tail.
That's it. They're not thinking, hey, I've got a section of guys with me that I'm the lead scout, that I've got to do this job. Mate, I understand.
Yeah, the attention to the focus to job was not there.
100%.
And that obviously caused my platoon sergeants and section commanders no end of trouble, and it caught me a lot of dead ground. Not so much physical. I got a lot of counselling though, a lot of extra duties. But yeah, got bounced back. I did a lot of Tully time. There were a lot of guys I met through RAR, because I did a tracking course in Tully just before. So this is the lead-up training that we did to Interfet. I did a 6-week tracking course up in Tully where I met Bram and Dan, some of the older guys of 4RAR. Met them there, did the tracking course with them, and then I stayed on for another 3 months after that, so definitely got some jungle time up. Working the bar and playing Enemy Party up at the Tully Training Centre, the Jungle Training Centre. So I met a lot of 3RAR guys come through, a lot of touch points with there, and then back to the battalions, and we did Timor, and then came back after Christmas and had a big break, and then sort of meandered through the next 2 or 3 years. But after coming back, I did my Christmas, did my leave back to home, saw mum and dad, came back, and like 3 weeks after that, I got a call from my dad saying mum had passed away.
Yeah, and this is where you take a compassionate posting to 16 RWAR.
Yeah, the Royal West Australian Regiment.
Yeah.
So there's 1128 and 16 and they're infantry regiments over there. So basically they kept a skeleton crew to train reservists to run guns and learn how to be infanteers.
And, mate, I've lost grandparents. Both my parents are still alive. Losing your mum, I dread the day that when that comes for me. Any person that loses a mum, especially young, like you were only
20.
We were 20.
Yeah.
Your mum is your best friend. Like,
I was a mummy's boy. I'm putting my hand
Yeah.
up. Anyone listener, I was a mummy's boy.
and that, mate, I am too. I wrote a chapter in my book called Mummy's Boy. Like, everyone is.
Growing up, sort of somewhat dislocated. And, you don't have a neighbour next to you. Your family become it is your tribe and all aspects of it. But you become a lot closer. Your ties are knit a lot closer. And a lot more compassionate as well. So when I got that call, basically found out that Mum woke up with a headache, went to bed and didn't wake up again, just a brain aneurysm at 40. And so I I literally jumped. I couldn't hear my dad telling me on the phone. So Paul Gleason, thanks for driving so smoothly. His mate's up in Townsville. I rolled out of his Ford Falcon ute, going around a roundabout outside Laverack Barracks, so I could roll onto the side of the road so I could hear what Dad was saying. Just jumped out of the car while it was moving. Thank God it was a roundabout. It was probably like 20 k's an hour. But us little people can roll really well.
Yes.
Got the call and went up to the Padres office and they got no dramas. We'll get you back home ASAP. So your processes for compassionate reasons back then were good in the outset, in the onset, the initial effect, right? Back home, within a day and a half, then I had someone came and picked me up from Perth, drove me 3 hours back to the hometown and looked after Dad and that. And then I started the process of, Mum maintained the home front, Dad worked. Now that's not there with 3 younger boys. So I thought, fuck it, I'll put a compassionate posting in to try and get me back. That took 3 months. 3 months to get me back to RWA, where there was a position there for me. It took the bean counters in Canberra, the movements crew, 3 months to get me back, and by that stage the family had started to decompose. So Dad would still be going out to work. I'm saying that, so Perth is still 3 hours away, so on the weekends I'll drive home after work in the week, drive home, spend a day and a half with the boys and Dad, turn around and do that and then fortnightly, etc. Unbeknownst to me, Dad would go onto the sharing teams at 6 a.m, make kids lunches, expect them to go to school. Young Aaron would have been 17 at that time, so he'd left school, he was working, he was running his own show. But the 2 younger boys were skipping school and pulling cones and doing the dumb stuff that I left to join the army to get away from. And it came to a point like that just the whole family basically just fell apart because Mum was the glue that held it all together. Dad was just a stoic on the man. I just make the money, drink piss on the weekends. That's it. It came to a point where I said, well, look, I'm not the mum. I've got to look after myself, and put my reposting back in up to Townsville and went back to 1RR to go back in the job because I couldn't play mum, dad and myself at 20 years old. I sort of had to have a chin talk with the old man and say you need to pull your socks up. Well, his one sock because he had an artificial leg, so pull your one sock up and fucking look after the family because they're falling apart because of you. And then did a 3.5 day drive back to Townsville by myself.
Like, that's the first time you've had to show resilience too. Like, you've lost your mum. Like, you're grieving the loss of your mum.
That flicked a switch in my brain. So being that meandering young kid through the defence, through the army at the time, didn't really care, didn't know what I was doing. For some reason, that flicked an aggression switch and flick the aggression switch on and flick the empathy switch off. Right. So I got into the job a lot harder, a lot better. My resilience and toughness came up. My ability to deal with confrontation and anything argumentative came a lot fire with fire. So I sort of, with my transition from normal infantry to SF, that was a switch that flicked it because anything hard I could just switch off to.
How's that go now as you're married and you have a beautiful wife and kids? That flicked. How do you go now that is that harder to...
It's a lot harder because all that... You do so many years of switch flicking of like your flash to bang, we like to call it, from just normal chat to chat to raging has been conditioned to like go and flick of a switch, right?
Yep.
Doesn't late very well into civilian life. So yeah, there's been a lot of growth post-discharge on that, and there's still continual growth. We'll go into my post-life
of course,
in a while.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm still working on stuff there. But I missed out on a second rotation. So the second rotation East Timor with 1 RAR because I blew my knee out doing a 2.4 in kit. And the platoon sergeant's gone, okay, that was a good training run. Real one's tomorrow morning. I've gone, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I stayed back and read details while the battalion went over and banged it in again over in East Timor. And went, you know what? This isn't doing it for me. It's hell or bust. I'll put my hand up for SF, 2 Commando, 4 hour at the time. And if I don't get it, I discharge.
Yeah, right.
Because the Army just wasn't cutting it for me anymore.
So because I know a lot of it, like, in the early days, and you did go down that early path of, you were there in 05. Like it's early days of the regiment and building, and some people said, I put in for SAS, and then they went down the commando path. What was it that made you go down that commando path and not SAS?
I can't stay quiet. Hence why I'm on a podcast with you, Adam. I have no inclination of pooping in a bag and staying out scrubbed for 6 weeks with just living out of my pack. I'd rather be kinetic and effect, which is what 4 hour was at the time. It was 18 lads doing the hard yards, banging it in, and then versus the Western contingent SAS where
6 dudes,
precision, quiet operations, stealth, that sort of stuff. That wasn't me. That wasn't me at all. I've got heavy legs, a big barge ass. I'm not conditioned to being quiet. So, for RAR Commando was where it was at for me, and that's
We'll talk about that in a minute. And I want to bring in this because I ask every veteran this question on every podcast.
01?
Yeah, 9/11. Where were you, and what do you remember of that day? And did you foresee that you'd be kicking sand on your boots in Afghanistan from that day of those towers getting hit?
So back in that day, you could drive onto Laverack Barracks with whoever you wanted in your car. You just get their IDs out and you sign them in. That's if the gate commander could even be bothered writing who's in your car. If you wanted girls in the lines, you could bring them back, etc. I wake up at 7 o'clock and my barracks building actually faced the main road coming into base. And traffic was built up. Like, I was going, what is going on out there? People honking and stuff like that. And we get to our first parade, 2 platoon on parade, and our platoon sergeant reads out, this is what's happening. And basically we down tools for the day and just watch the news clips. For me, I was 20 years old, soon to be 21. Again, didn't have that brain. I didn't have that forward-thinking brain or understand cause and effect too much at that stage. So it was just, cool, America's in a war. No, gee, Al Qaeda's like really done a dirty on America, right? Like a bit different now, but I didn't understand how big an effect that would have 2 or 3 years down the track, and what all your Five Eyes governments and stuff was starting to slide towards, and what that would do for reshaping of the Defence Force, essentially. Building one of the premier SF units in Australia, right?
Absolutely, and that day changed the world, mate, and we've never been the same since. And I don't think I've spoken to a lot of guys and girls, and they've said that they didn't foresee that we would be involved in our longest war ever. No. That
20 years, mate.
20 years, and from 2 planes hitting, 3 planes, 1 hitting the Pentagon and 2 hitting, there were 2 World Trade Centers. That's that. As you say, no one foresaw that was going to happen. That's right. So we go forward to selection, mate. 2005.
Yeah.
How did you mentally and physically prepare for selection?
So, lots of stores carry stuff. I did a lot of bar work, as in holding heavy weight. Because I've got little carny hands and chipolata-like fingers, so I had to get them strong and used to holding a lot of weight. 2 games of football a week, but that was my cardio, and I did some swimming on the side just because for our
Amphibious,
at the time was amphibious, so my swimming wasn't the best. Yeah, jumping on a board and then swimming to the side of the pool wasn't exactly doing a nautical mile swim, right? So I did a lot of swimming there to build up. Not that any swimming training you can do will set you up for a Bencamphius pool session. Anyone that's listening that has done that will know exactly what I'm talking about and shudder a little in the spine. Yeah, I did that, and that set me up. And again, like I said, with that switch being flicked in my head, if it got hard, I'd just keep going. And the resilience was there. So with myself and a friend, we convoyed down from Townsville to Sydney. We slept in the 4RAR gym at the time underneath some boxing bags. They didn't have some beds for us. Just pulled our sleeping bags out and stuff like that. Got up at 6 a.m, morning routine, shit shower, shave. And I'm standing in at the basins in the mirror having a shave with the sharp side of the razor by now, thankfully, because I was 25. Next to Chad Elliott, who is still a very large man, but he had to get polys custom made for him, and he couldn't touch his arms down to his sides. Like he had the back of a give way sign.
Wow!
And then another dude to the other side of me, and I'm probably 64 kilos at this stage. What the F have I got myself into?
Yep.
Well, first session was a name parade, and then, okay, you're getting beasted for 4 hours. Well, Chad stayed, but the other big dude didn't. But those who just continually ground, you didn't have to be the fastest. It was just a assessment of who's got some staying power. Now, back in the day, out of about like 120 odd people we signed up with, it got dropped down to about 95, 90 straight away from that one PT session.
Wow.
Just thrash dudes.
And this is barrier, or is this selection?
This is selection. So,
right.
Barrier, for those who don't know, is the basic fitness assessment you do before you get the nod to go on selection. So this is the good Woosha story. Luke Worsley story.
Yep.
So we did the barrier. I was doing my sub 2 for corporal outfield, and I had my selection application, my barrier application in, and they brought me back from the Bush X, where we ran on a little sleep, to do the barrier.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we'll look after you. Get heaps of training. No, you don't. You're doing your promotion course, and then they just brought me straight back in, did the barrier, just scraped through on my run for that, and then once it was all done, took me back outfield, straight back into running a section.
Oh wow!
It was not pleasant, man. So resilience, right?
Absolutely,
get the job done. But my story about Luke Worsley is we step off. So Luke Worsley, handsome, 6'2", 6'3", just dynamo of a human, like very humble, very nice guy as well. Step off for the 15 clicker. Before we even get like 6 kilometres into the 15k pack march, he's already running back. So he's hit the halfway point and he's running back. I think he's set the course record, like the 15 clicker record. Now he wanted to come to 4IR at the time.
Yeah. And
this is anecdotally, rumour mill, he did it so quick that the boys, the Western selection team that were there are going, mate, come across, like, you're built to have a pack on. You're not even wearing it. Come over to us, like, stuff the cars and the boats and stuff. Come out with us and do your recon sniper stuff. So they were really keen on getting their hands on Luke, but because we came through with like Jason Brown, Geordie McCallum, Dan Hamblin, Shane Dennis, guys like that. The 1RAR click in 4RAR and then 2 Commando was very tight. So we came down with basically the guys we became men with, because we're all kids when we're all 18, 19, 17 in my case, when we got to RAR, and we matured for 5 years in the regiment. And we just wanted to carry that footy team down to over a series of selection courses and inductions. We wanted to bring that click down to 4RAR, so we did, and that's but that's a cool story, a cool fun story about Woosha. He was a freak of a human,
and it's ironic, mate, that we're actually recording this podcast on the anniversary of his death. 18 years to the day. So it's
chin,
rest in
Luke.
peace, rest in peace, mate. You're never forgotten, and mate, you mentioned Geordie and you mentioned Brownie and Geordie's episode 81. Go back and listen to Geordie's episode. He, absolute champion of a bloke, he was originally 1RAR, then went 4RAR, and then went over to West, to SAS. So a top human and someone I'm very blessed to call a very close friend, and go back and listen to his podcast. And all these podcasts, mate,
they all mesh.
Yeah, they all mesh. So So, mate, you're on selection 95. Yeah. It's starting to.
It's starting to attrit.
Yes, and then, mate, let's talk about selection.
So, anyone doing selection now, it pales in comparison to how things are. Sorry, the first couple of selections pale in comparison to how it is now. There is a lot of science and experience and reshaping that's being done now to people coming through to go SAS or Commando. So prehabilitation is a thing. Getting your mind and body right. Rehabilitation as you're going through selection is a thing. When we did the first 3 or 4 cohorts, it was just a grind. Okay, we know we've got to do these things, but in between we don't know what we're going to do, so we're just going to thrash you. And that was the mindset. Those who last at the end will be given their berets. And those who don't will come back next year. If you've been given the invitation, if you pull out, you get one more shot at it. If you're injured, no dramas. You keep going until you actually pass it, right? So that was tough. There are a couple of assessing DS from one RAR that were on there that knew my background, so it was a bit of comic relief at my expense. But we all got through. Not we all got through. I think we finished with 16 dudes.
Far out.
Yeah, it wasn't big.
Wow. Yeah. From 95 to 16.
Yeah, 16 of us, and then there was it was probably maybe another 10 or so that came in at a certain stage, to finish their navigation side because they twisted their ankle the last year or something like that.
Yeah, right.
We finished with less than 25% of the original cohort.
Far out.
Because there was no science behind it. What they wanted to see is people that were resilient with a brain on their heads, but they overworked it. One particular example is the CO at the time just randomly said, okay, the guys got their 20 clicker coming up, I want all supporting staff to do it with them. And you've got to prepare all your gear. Guys weren't coming into work that day, and so we were ready to go at 6 o'clock. We didn't get on the buses until 11 a.m. And we went out the back of Holsworthy, and it was hot. The sun was bouncing off the sand, the shiny particles on the road, and sort of snow blinding people. It was cooked.
Oh yeah.
So out of say the 80 odd people that were still on selection at that time, and then the supporting staff, there was only 11 of us that passed in the 4-hour time mark. Everyone else got cooked.
Yeah.
And to the point where to make weight in my pack, to add more weight to my pack, I had an extra kilo of Juby lollies. I'm a big lolly freak.
Yeah, right.
And for those of us that passed in that 4-hour period, I was just handing out lollies because guys were getting IV'd up. There was no medical support. People ran out of water because guys that don't do the walks properly, they dump their water straight up.
Yep.
Go as hard as they can and fill up their water through staged water resup points through dumping 3 kilos to get an extra 5 minutes of speed. If you haven't done your prep for walking, that's not going to change much, right?
No.
So what that did, that had a catalyst effect of not having enough water for people as they came through, and so guys are getting to the 15k mark, no water, cramping up, going down with heat. Medical support was drawn away to look after them, so guys across the line that then needed medical support, if they were that way inclined, didn't have the support. So we're bagging people up, it was bad. I'm not sure if it's still talked about today, but up to 10 years after we did it, the walk was still talked about during selection.
I have heard this on other podcasts.
Walk. So I was running around handing out jubies to people just to get the sugars up so they didn't crash out and go into shock. And
bloody hell! Wow,
it was that bad that we spent. Okay, well you're outfield now, but for the next 24 hours you're on forced rest. You can't have some warm water bottles and eat your rations.
And what's the thought of the CO to, as you say, you want to get those pack marches done early. You don't want to.
It was great in theory. Your training staff should be able to do what you're expecting and better, right? So great in theory, but there was no preparation or warning order for the dudes to do it. So okay, grab your stuff and go. But what stuff? We don't have guys here. The companies are so thin with guys managing the selection course that you're on a rotation cycle of work because the hours are so long. We've got guys at home on rest, bring them in. It's that sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so that wasn't well thought. And funny note, the CEO didn't make it either.
He
made about 11 kilometres out and we gave him a wave as he walked past him.
We'll leave that one where that is. I think that's we won't mention him by name. We'll leave him out. So.
The good ideas fairies wasn't such a good idea in retrospect.
Looking back now, mate, like that pack march almost cooked you.
Yeah.
Like, what was the toughest part apart from that walk? What was the toughest part of selection?
To be honest, mate, that wasn't tough.
Yeah,
it was just long and arduous, and the heat had a lot to deal with that, and just people gassed out because they're out the back of Holsworthy is dinosaur country, and I think it just caught people by surprise, the heat, and that's what bounced people out.
I've been out to the back of Holsworthy with bushfires, and I know...
We'll wait for the next bushfire out there, mate.
Mate, I know what it's like. It's tough country. It's not easy.
I think the hardest part for me through that selection was the Navigation X, because it's solo running, and we asked why I didn't want to go SAS, because I don't like to be quiet. I'm a social animal. I'm a social pig. I'm a bit of a glutton. I like to be around people, right? So being out there for a day and a half and a night by myself, getting into my own headspace, that was the toughest part. But yeah, the dinosaur country, I saw a yabby, a species of yabby down in the creek that was straight out of Jurassic Park, albeit on a micro scale with spines and things coming off. What the F is that? Because I come from farming where we grow yabbies in the dams, and we go out camping on the dam site and eat the yabbies. And I'm like, what the F is this? This thing's had the Homer Simpson green rod down its back. Like, something doesn't look right here.
Right.
Yeah, that was the hardest part for me. Was the physical side, not so much. It's the mental side of doing things, and
because you're getting no positive feedback or anything.
No. There was a lot of silent running on my selection, which was pretty cool. When I eventually went to SFTC to the training centre, I understood the silent running from that aspect of it, not from being a recipient of it, but to seeing the effect it has on people, and understood why it was done. But in the moment, it sucked. Like getting beasted, you're still getting attention, right? So, and you're still here. Yeah. It's when you're not getting beasted and you're on the bus home. Oh, I've screwed up here. I haven't cut the mustard. But as I said, this was all in or nothing.
And how long was that selection?
I think it was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. No. The selection might have been 13 days or something like that. Yep. I can't do the math right now because the head doesn't work. And then there was like a 4-week period after that of doing your SF weapons and things like that.
Yeah, okay.
After that.
So, what's the feeling like, mate? You, as you said, it was either make or break, I'm going SF or I'm discharging. Yep. You get through selection and then you're told, yep, Kurt, you're on the reinforcement cycle. Because I've spoken to Bergs, I've spoken to Platts, I've spoken to Slats, I've spoken to a lot of the guys which you know, and they've said selection's just that, it's the first peak of the mountain. It's literally, cool, you've passed selection, that's great.
Now first checkpoint, you're at the top now, you're at the false crest.
That's right. And then you pass selection, then you move on to Rio, and this is where you start doing, and did you struggle on anything in the Rio cycle? Because I know the shooting, like the close...
You know what I really struggled on was Amphib.
Right.
Yeah, Amphib was another selection course in itself. So Amphib went for, I think, 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, right.
It was a long course. It was run out of Spectacle Island. We'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, take a nice diesel bath, swim around the island, then come back, have brekkie, which are... banjos, whatever, and get back and then get on the Zodiacs and take them out and learn how to run them. Because I never grew up with boats, and everything you see in the movies is left-hand operation because you sit on the right. Well, it's different in the for commandos. You sit on the left side, so you're using your right hand to drive, and so your whole your mechanics to what your brain's saying to what you think it's going to be is all messed up. So you go to put throttle down, you're throttling up, and all of a sudden you're slamming into another dude's boat trying to come alongside and portage and just gently rub up against it. No, you're riding over the two dudes at the front. And it's like, shit, this is the... you're pushing. That I really struggled through the amphib side, and then you do your nautical transit with your two 40cc motors on the back, 40 horsepower motors on the back, and they end up breaking. You start towing other boats, and you're sitting on top of diesel jerrys. Everyone gets swamp ass. Anyone who does triathlons or any long distance running, like swamp asses, will add diesel fumes to that, to your soft nethers, and everyone's walking like a cowboy. Like microfiber and gauze shares would have spiked hard during those weeks because
it's just skin on skin, isn't
skin
it?
on skin. It's just peeling away. You're losing flesh, and then you're getting T-cell enteritis in your fingers, and it was a big deal. But it was run like another selection because now we've got you to a threshold of fitness. We're going to keep that there, maybe raise it a bit, but we're going to smack you academically as well. So you learn how to read sea charts and do navigation on the ocean and time just learning new skills. So the foot never came off the gas. And like for us on selection and the reinforcement cycle, like we didn't understand what was happening then, but all this pressure and dynamic action there was a reason why, and that's because Afghan had kicked off, right? So they're pressure cooking us with the intent as soon as reinforcement cycle is done, we're going to take a handful of you straight away, and you're going to be on rotation 3, I think it is, to Afghanistan in support with SAS. Like you're looking after the boys while they go out and do their precision strikes. So that was the reason. But for those of us going through Rio, I was like, Jesus Christ, did we get a break? Like it was just. So I think it was like 4 or 5 months of just solid go. Like we missed a couple of courses out because it wasn't part of the training schedule at the time. Things like there was bums on seats for drivers and amphib. You did your helo and you did ACQB.
Yep.
You didn't do CUO. CUO came later.
Right.
So you had to learn how to like kick a door down, but you didn't have to learn how to street fight per se. So once you come back from that adventure, all those other skill sets, that was part of your pedigree to get your ECM 079 it got trickled in. You did it as soon as you could, basically. So you got through Rio. So let's go back. I got through Rio.
Yep.
Here's your Beret Parade.
What was that? Because some guys I've spoken to that came late. Like, were you presented your beret?
No.
Right.
No. So you finish. Okay, you've been like the final board of studies. They do the paperboard on you. Okay, you've been accepted. I honestly can't remember. I remember doing the training, and then I remember being at the boozer. That was it.
Yeah, right.
But I also remember 2 days before them saying, go to the clothing store and buy yourself a beret and badge and shape it for 2 days. So once you got told that, okay, I'm getting a beret. Yeah. Unless you went out on the piss like someone did and conduct unbecoming and didn't get his beret.
Yeah, right.
I think Bergs was the big one when he was SFTC. It was like guys that put themselves through the ringer. Let's make it a special occasion. They get given a dagger. They get awarded their beret. Their families come, that sort of stuff. Not for us. It was just to the boozer. Buy your own beret. Go to the boozer. Okay, the CO shakes your hand. Well done. You're now part of it. Now back to work. That was it. Yeah. There was no ceremony, man. It was survival of the fittest to the end. And then you get your beret, and then you get back on the tools, get back to the job.
And I know I had a really great chat with Bergs about it, and he said that back in the day, there was no six-figure diggers. You were doing it for the love of the job, and because you wanted to be part of something. There
was no six-figure diggers, but it was a lot more money. It was a significant pay increase compared to your infantry. So rather than getting paid mediocre wages it's a little bit selfish. I chose the money over the deep down meaning of serving the country, etc. I've gone, well, I'm already serving the country. Let's just do it. I'll treat this as a promotion course.
Correct.
And did it that way. And that was one of the questions I was asked when we're doing like a mad stores carry for 6 hours during selection was, why are you here, Kurt? I'm here for the money, Corporal. Well, sir. Because what do you mean? I said, well, I'll get paid, $36,000 as a digger in Townsville. Really get paid close to 50 here. It's just simple math. He's gone, yeah, fair enough, no worries. At least you know why you're here, right?
That's right.
Whereas guys would be saying, oh, I want to serve, I want to do the job to the best of my ability. Well, there is that, but deep down I was just looking at the paycheck because...
Yeah. Who isn't, mate?
living off Subway stamps the last 3 days between fortnightly payments so you can eat or go into the mess is not ideal. So.
No, that's right. And and if you went on team, which you would eventually go on team, that got a pay rise as well.
Yeah, so Charlie Company at the time, that was an extra pay bump, but with the pedigree with the initial training cohort, the OSB, what they got put through over Western Perth to establish that tag. They'd kept that level of training, if not more. They improved upon that, so you had to maintain that skill set. So if you were fortunate enough to go up there after doing your CUO course and CQB, you got a little pay bump, but as soon as you came, that was a rolling posting. So some people managed to stay up there for a lot longer than others, but if you did 12 months up there and then you rotated back down, so you come back to poor people pay, then you go back up to good people pay, and for the next 3 years, you'd be like 2 years down the track, you'd be looking 2 years going, all right, I can look forward to a little bit of a pay bump for the next 12 months there, I can buy myself that new car or whatever. But then Afghan happened.
Yeah.
And that's when we started really earning our stripes as 4RR.
Well, you mentioned Muzz Turner and all those, like, they were on team for a long time.
Where's Nick,
rest in peace, Nick, and all these guys, all these names of the regiment, mate, that are iconic names of the regiment, and for all the good stuff, not infamous shit. They're for,
that's part of it. That's what builds it.
Exactly.
You've got to have your assumed bad through optics to have your good.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you pass, mate, as you get your beret. Proud moment for you because you've gone through the hard slog and blood, sweat and tears, literally.
Yeah.
And what company do you roll into?
Well, initially I was posted into Bravo Company, but then we did para course, and I sputtered into the DZ. My heels stayed stuck in like a freshly watered tractor track, and my heels dug in up to my ankle. They stayed there, and they stayed facing one way, and my body went the other. Oh. That was on my second jump, and I heard it crack. And I've never broken a bone in my body, and I thought I'd broken that because it just didn't sound right.
Yeah, right.
And the course is that tight, you can't make up jumps. So I had to do a night jump on top of it. And I did another jump on top of that ankle.
You're in world of hurt.
And just laid down in the wet grass, went, I can't do it anymore. This is. I think I've done some real damage here. Put my hand up, and the medics have gone, the hospital down at Nowra, gone, it's just a sprained ankle. 3 weeks later, I'm still hobbling. When I got an X-ray, no, you haven't broken a bone, but you've sheared bone off your ankle with your Achilles tendon. So I've hit that hard, I've gone swing, just somehow these little fingers have come out of the tendon, grabbed a piece of bone and just ripped it off. So yeah, good medical support there. So I missed my posting with my internal posting to Bravo. Yeah. Had to get my ankle better, and then went to Delta Company, and Delta Company did all the lead up training to then bolster Alpha Company to go on to Rotation 4 in 2008.
7?
Oh, 7, yes, we did Timor.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks for the correction of my history.
I remember that because
you've got cheat notes.
Yes, I got cheat notes, mate. So.
I've got a brain that's cheating on me.
And you mentioned, Rot 3 went in, and Todd Langley, Todd in contact.
Tick.
Tick. And the guys are banging it, like Bergs and that were banging it in. You're hearing these stories of Rot 3 was just wild. And
well, we're in Timor at the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we're in Timor-Leste.
So you're chasing now for Renato at that point.
And looking after Jose Ramos Horta. Yep. We're up at his place, and then towards the end of the trip, we're looking after Renato.
Wild time, mate.
Yeah, mate. That was initially when Timor-Leste kicked off because of the civil conflict there with the governmental parties. It was supposed to be a 3-day trip, so we went over light. We went over so light and so quickly that the helicopter crew, the guys that were inserted by Black Hawk, had to ditch the Black Hawk on the beach because they were bingo on fuel. So they had to put as many people on there as possible with as light amount of kit. So we basically went over with a day pack. Extra 2 litres of water, maybe an extra 2 magazines and a ration pack, maybe.
Bloody hell.
We're supposed to be there for 3 days, and Commando Ops, you can run hard for 3 days. Everything's based around a 72-hour cycle, and you rest, refit, and go. We're expecting to be coming back to Australia on day 4 or 5. No, we were there for 3.5, 4 months.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so one set of camps?
Yeah, one set of camps. We had to beg, borrow, and steal to get stuff. The SAS were there as well, and they had their logistics trains set up. And that's something that our crew took a lot of analysis away from. Is you're only as good as your logistical. For the Romans learnt that the hard way out. You're only as good as your food and bullets coming up behind you, right? So we're like, hot wiring vehicles to get around the area to go to where we needed to do, like putting down civil unrest at the A ports and the seaports, the shipyards, the airport, that sort of stuff. Setting up for 3RR to come in behind us.
Yep.
And then we'd push out into the hills and start doing some shaping operations into there. That was, to be honest, mate. Like in comparison to Afghan, there's a completely different sort of special operations role, but it was awesome. We went there with the bare bones of our ass and just worked and had such a huge shaping effect, like coming up against gangs with machetes and stuff that are trying to chop their people apart to create civil unrest, and just going up against them with fists. Basically, we could have quite easily just like put a lot of Timorese in the dirt, but we just over-staunched them, essentially. A section of 7 or 8 dudes, a team of 7 or 8 dudes going along a roadway, an extended line with Kevlar knuckles versus edged weapons, and we just over-staunched them and put them down.
Far out. Yeah, wow.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But the old perishable skill, like butt strokes coming out from your M4s, your bayonet fighting, etc.
Yes.
Any infanteers listening to this, hone that skill, because it works, and when you do get to use it, you get to smile afterwards going, I actually got to use this.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So you're hearing the stories, you're in East Timor, you're gearing up for Afghanistan. This is East Timor and Afghanistan.
Joshy.
So
half our contingent got sent back. So at the 6-week period,
yep,
it's you guys can stay on, or you go back to Australia and shape for the next rotation. We're at Afghanistan, and they just pick people. The half that the contingent that went back to Australia ended up getting put on the Canimbla off to the coast of Papua New Guinea, I think it was. Fiji, sorry.
Yep.
Or Plumbob, whatever.
Yeah, Plumbob, I think it was.
And that's where Josh went in. So the guys were over. So leading up to that, the guys that were on the boat, both SAS and Commandos, the Commando boys, because back then we didn't have cutaway webbing. Like we had, a lot of us were buying all that kit from China, just plate carriers from China, because it was better than what we were being issued that we could fit our Australian plates into, because we actually had a cutaway system on that. We were buying that ourselves because our logistics through the Defence Force was piss. So we were spending our own money on our own kit in those early days. Lots of it. Pac-Man, rest in peace. He did a lot of work for two Commando then. So they jumped onto the ship and they were doing like helo operations, training, going around, fully load up 12 dudes to an airframe. And if that had sputtered in, like no slight to Josh at all, but if like that had they had 6 people on the bird versus 12, like trying to get 12 people out of an aircraft frame as it's sinking at a great rate of knots, like catastrophic, and that would have been just as detrimental, if not more, to the regiment as it was coming through 4R at the time. And then unfortunately, that the boom and the tail wheel got caught, and over she went and sunk like a stone, and poor Josh bit in, and I think that's what inspired Jace Brown as well to go across to SAS at the time. Because they were thick as thieves through 1RR. Always walking through Annandale across the base. I'd see them from where I was living. They'd be walking around, just shit-eating grins on their face, just loving life.
I know Langers spoke of that day, and I know Tomo speaks of that day of, he kicked the can, he was pretty shitty that he was, on the Canimbla, Damien Tomlinson.
And
one of his regrets, mate, was telling Langers to fuck off. And he said, if this is the standard of SF, so you can fucking have it. Like, I'm out. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why are we sitting off Fiji?
Sitting as stooges, just floating.
And
watching all the Navy personnel cry because they've haven't touched the ground for 3 weeks.
That's right. And so go back and listen to Damien's episode where he talks about that day, and he's he wasn't too happy with Langers, and he actually admitted it that it's a regret that he has, because Langers is the human being that Langers is. He's an absolute just the smartest man I think I've ever sat across from.
Everyone got that feeling. The debates that we had coming into our first trip overseas, around the circled wagons, as we said, because it was all vehicular ops. Yeah, the amount of debates and theological discussions we had, like it was a good trip.
And we're going to talk about that.
Coming into that, yeah.
Yeah, and then so go back and listen to episode 95 as well with Langers, so former CEO of Two Commandos. So go, absolute weapon of a man, and 60 kilos, ringing wet, and one of the fittest guys in Two Commando. So Josh passes, mate, and you guys are in Timor, and then you're gearing up to go to Afghan. This is the real deal now.
Yeah. So eventually we get pulled back to Australia, a few weeks, couple of months, whatever, and then we're 3 cricket bags full of kit onto a jet into Afghanistan and into real ops, not Timor ops, but Fiji ops, but real ops, hunting people.
And at this point, had Luke passed, or were you the rotation before or after?
After Marksy had passed. The Delta Company had gone already, I'm pretty sure.
Right, so Luke had already passed at this stage?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so how was that? You mentioned, that hit the regiment pretty hard. He's the first guy lost.
The first guy lost, correct. Every loss hits you. And unfortunately, it's always the best looking, most staunch, nicest dudes, always the get hit, right?
Yeah.
Poor bastards. Hence why I'm still here, I guess.
Same, mate. I've got a face for radio, not TV.
Yeah, exactly. It hit hard. Everyone wants to know all the details, but unfortunately the details take weeks and months to come out. But you just know one of the guys has gone down doing his job. That's what it comes down to. I think everyone that went overseas was happy to go be put in the dirt by a bullet versus an IED as well. You don't go over there. You go over there to gunfight. You don't go over there to get spat out the top of a car with no legs hanging off your hips, right? So, it hit everyone hard, but also, he went out doing what he chose to do, and he went out looking after his brothers left and right.
Well, he gave a target indication, didn't he?
That's right.
That was what his last words were. Target indication.
I'm pointing away to the microphone.
Yes,
microphone doesn't have eyes.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah, and another hard hitter, mate, that would lose his life a few years later. Cam Baird was awarded an MG for that. Same deal. Stepping in to pull Luke out. Another awesome human of a warrior that made the ultimate sacrifice a few years later.
It's the tall dudes, unfortunately, because guys sit in the back of a room with their muzzles to a doorway typically shoot up and go full auto, which pulls the weapon up and high. And it's always the taller dudes that go through. So any instructor or a strategic guy out there, put your short dudes at the front. Put your little dudes through the door first.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I don't know. Might have some longevity in the soldiers.
Fatal funnel, mate.
Yeah,
correct. That's what it is.
Correct.
So
when your time's up, your time's up. As long as you go out doing your job right.
Yeah.
And with peace at your heart, I guess that's all you can ask for.
So you deploy in 07, and what's the mission profile in 07? What are you doing?
All our mission profiles there were kill capture. Basically, there was somewhat shaping ops, but it was, and Langers has talked about this on his podcast, it was all going out and just getting into fights. That was our job.
Yeah,
we had very limited intelligence. I was a 822, so I was a mortar 2RC at the time. We had 3 mortar vehicles, 3 people to a caster. We were quite a heavy section compared to our heavy teams. We had 9 people to our team versus 6 in a normal commando element. And so we'd go out and we'd basically set up our tubes, put some bombs down into a certain couple of hills to bed our tubes in, and then we'd just shape and wait for intelligence to come in, and we'll go out and start hunting people. But we also go out there and play the tethered goat. So think Africa, you tether a goat to a stake out in the area, and if there's a lion in the area, it'll come and eat the goat, and you kill the lion. Well, would tether a a vehicle of ours, whoever was lucky enough to be tethered out. We would pretend that there's some vehicle issues, like they've broken an axle or something like that, or we'd set up a repeated pattern of life. We'd keep going around the same area, same tracks. At the same time, we'd pull up a harbour or a circle the wagons in this particular area. And eventually the Taliban caught on to it and gone, oh, why don't we have a fight? Silly decision. And
especially against Commando.
Oh yeah, and especially with a 20 vehicle packet that's got 84mm rockets, has the ability to call in fast jets. Every man has 200 rounds their own personal ammunition, 50 cals or Mark 19s on top of the cars, Mag 58s in the Commander car. So that's what we did a few times. We got into a few bloody good stoushes. One particular fight, I think it was the Five Ways, I'm pretty sure it was called. We got into a 3-day battle there, Winchestered or emptied out 2 B-52s
bloody hell
of ordnance on top of this mountain range. That was the fight that Brenton Skeet got his Medal of Gallantry in. My mortar crew, we got brassed up. Myself and another colleague who's out, Ryan Tyndall, we both, first rounds go off, you find a position to cover and orientate to the firefight, right? Or where you're getting shot from. Position to cover was one tyre wheel arch, and so he was 65 kilos, I was 80 kilos at this time.
So you put on a bit of size.
Weight versus weight, plus in body armour, we both hit. I stuck behind the tyre, he went out back into the bullets, and we had a bit of a giggle and I grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him back in while we were trying to figure out where all these rounds are coming from.
Yeah, right.
Skeet's running down the mountain from a commander's brief and sprinted about 400 metres down the mountain. Jumped onto the tubes and started direct lane bombs into the position where we're receiving fire from, just to regain the initiatives of you shoot at us, we'll shoot back at you with something bigger and put your head down. Then we can start shaping the force around. So that's what we did. One of the other lads had gastro on top of the hill at the... See, the firefights, yeah, it's bloody dangerous, but God, you look back and laugh. One of the guys had gastro and he's stretcher bound at the time, and there's bullets whipping under his stretcher. He's just... doing the mummers, he can't do anything about it. Those who are listening know what I'm talking about there.
Yes, I've heard of food over there.
And then Skeet started getting had to start getting some orders from higher command, so I jumped back onto the line and started pulling people out, getting my number ones on the tubes to start orientating the tubes to regain that initiative and put the guys' heads down so we could win the firefight. Rounds were that close. I had bullets coming in between my legs. I'm standing in the middle of those going, well, you can't touch me. And then one of my number ones didn't want to get on the tube, and so I'm basically just standing in the middle of the open, just like, if they can't hit me, they can't hit you. And then we look at his tube afterwards, and the bipod leg's got a bullet hole through it.
Wow.
And for number ones, the guys that run the bipod team, they're basically ballisted with their legs straddled across the mortar tube, so they're intimate within the confines of the weapon system itself. And so to have a bullet go through the bipod and carve through cast iron, the 7.62 round straight through, carve a hole in it, and then not go through and snap his leg off or something like.
Jesus,
it was fun. You
laugh about it now, mate.
We can laugh at it now. Yeah, but that was our first proper gunfight. And then from there, that basically shaped how we do things. We drive out in big convoys to the point where we got so many runs on the board, and I say runs on the boards of winning gunfights and not having any losses. We'd come out of base, and there'd be spies, local employed civilians in the area that'd be looking for commando cars coming out of the encampment, out of where we were, and they say the bearded ones are coming. Everyone put your melons down, which was their weapon systems. Put your weapons down, go back to farming because the bearded ones are coming out.
Yeah, right.
So we had that. That was when we were 4 hour out. That was before we became 2 commando.
And for the civilian listener, you're running around in the SRVs. There's no Bushmasters at this point.
No, that was open top.
Yeah, no body armour.
We did a 6.5 week operation in vehicles without coming back to base at one stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was that like? What was that like, mate? You know, all this training to do the job for real.
It was cool.
And you you're just doing your job you're in there, as you say, the gunfights, it's kinetic, it's starting, and it's only going to get more kinetic as we go on through your story. And I've spoken to Geordie, and I've spoken to, and it's like being that regular battalion, like in, you know, back in, like, not SF.
Yeah.
It's different to being SF. Like, yes, as the guys have said, you know, battalion life sets you up to you.
Yeah.
You know, but this
It's
is
kindergarten.
It's kindergarten.
Yeah.
You're now SF. And did you just feel, this is why we train, this is, and, you know, like...
Oh, actually, sorry, kindergarten's a bit rude. Kindergarten's your kapuka, your primary school is your initial employment training, and then you move into your secondary element, which is your battalions, and now we're doing our doctorates.
Yep.
That's SF.
Yeah, right.
That's
and
SF.
So you just, like, that
Yeah,
first... you loved
we're immersed,
Yeah,
and it
right.
was short duration. I think it was 3.5-4 month rotations at that stage because the reserve regiment's one commando was taken over the snowy period because they don't have 2 or 3 weeks of a 2 month period where they can actually go out and do things because it all snows in. So we'd do 4 months, then we'd rotate another company would do 4 months, and then the reserve unit would take a Chrissy period and rinse and repeat for the next 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So you could maintain that high level operations of just go for that 3 month period in the vehicles until unfortunately we weren't allowed to drive vehicles anymore because
The enemy.
every major war is supported by its resources, and the best way to smack for the Afghans or the Taliban will. Homemade explosives cheaper than an AK-47, so we'll just put a few drums of those in a choke point and start blowing the vehicles in half. So that's when we started drifting towards Bushmasters and rotary wing ops.
And we're going to talk about that in a sec, but what I want to highlight too is that to the civilian listener, at this point too, the enemy that Kurt and the boys are fighting, they're evolving, like you guys are evolving with boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Your enemy's evolving too, and they start planning IEDs, and just that more damage would be done by an IED than a gunfight.
Yeah,
because
a 6 hour gunfight where potentially 50 people get shot, but they don't. But you can guarantee you can rip a vehicle in half and kill 3 people inside a vehicle with 50 kilos of homemade explosives in a culvert or over a bridge. So that's the way they shape. So for the listener, the first rotation, we could go 7 cars line abreast, like the Light Horse Regiment, charging Gallipoli and stuff. Oh, it's a passion now. Anyway. Anyway, yeah. Bathsheba, thank you.
Yeah. No, that's all right.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Avid reader of history, mate.
Yeah,
that's how
good. Yeah, good. I'm an avid forgetter of history. One in one ear and out the other. Yeah, we could go line abreast vehicles through major plateaus and stuff and not be hit by IDs. And within a 4 month period after that, so the next time we came back, the very next year, we couldn't do that. We're a single file everywhere because ID threat had gone up like 50,000%. And you get a red dot analysis by your intelligence crew of IEDs in the area. So before we go out, this is where we've had IEDs located, the ones that we've found. And there'd be like 4 or 5 dots on the whole area that we're going to. Came back the next year, like someone throwing Skittles all over the map. It's just everywhere. It's just spread that bad.
Yeah, right.
So it's very low cost resource to make with such a massive effect when you're trying to disrupt. So we're going out to do disruption ops on them. They're disrupting us back by channeling us certain ways, and then they can start setting us up for ambushes, which are obviously Delta Company found out about this.
2008. You will, we'll get to that in a sec because Geordie and that talk about of all his rotations, and Bergs. There's some helmet footage of Bergs. Geordie said it that day he remembers of all days in Afghanistan that. They literally got their asses handed to him that day, and Marksy was killed. Yeah, and it was literally, as Geordie said, he goes, of all my rotations, that one was. He said how only Marksy got ambushed, and go back and listen to Geordie's episode because he talks about how, and Bergs as well, that the Mujahideen absolutely was a great ambush that they got their asses handed to them.
There should have been more KIAs on our side for what was set up in preparation for those lads to go through. Blessed that Marksy was the only casualty. Not that you want any casualty. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot more families ripped apart. But the ripple effect of one person going across both regimental and home life of their loved ones, etc., having exponentially increasing that number of KI friendly, it's catastrophic, and we've lived through that. We'll go through that later on with Alpha Company.
Of course, yeah.
Ripple effect, like horrible, but yeah, something was looking over the shoulders of those boys on that day at that particular time, and they limped out.
Yeah.
Reset, refit, and they went back and punched him.
And so let's just go back to your end of your deployment 07. Do you have any wounded in
We did, thank you. Chad Elliott, one of my diggers. So, because you may remember I said we've got a nine-man section, nine-man team. Your commandos first, your skill set second. Like, you've got a specialist skill set like recon snipers, heavy weapons, mortars, etc. That's your secondary skill set. You're a commando at the forefront. So I had the ability to, myself and Skeet, who was a team commander, had the ability to blister on detach some of our men into other teams that had maybe people out there being sick, or they just needed an extra couple of guys in the particular walking operation they were doing. I had the ability to detach a few dudes, and so. Unfortunately, the dudes I detached, one of them got shot. And it was one of those guys.
Murphy's Law.
And it was that guy that was standing next to me in the shitters on the very first day of selection, that his arms couldn't touch he couldn't put his hands down to his side without his lats springing them out. Love you, Chad. They were going up again into this particular hot hillside, this old fighting position that during the Russians' invasion, where the Afghans had chiselled in gun placements in the top of the mountains. So yes, they evolved, but they keep going back to their same fighting positions that are established. So we've got those keyed in, right? We know where they are. And the guys are walking up there to check this out. A burst of AK comes down and, of course, hits the 95-kilo lean Chad Elliott through just below the hip joint.
Oh shit!
Yeah, bad juju place to be hit. You got your femoral artery. You got all your junction points just in the hip, right? So and broken femurs. 4 litres of blood you can lose straight away, just gone from storage, and not to mention the crepitus of your shards of bone going through all your arteries. So
you got a cat A.
Bad cat A straight away. Yeah. So as soon as we found that out, I broke my mortar crew apart, and we just drove the BMs that we were using at the time were primarily first aid. So Jody Brown and the boys from TACMed, that's where all that sort of company come from. TACMed came from the early days of our trips, and God, those guys, they pioneers and advances of their skill set. Like, holy shit! Like, so many dudes be dead without those boys from the early days of rotations to the GAN learning their craft. Jumping in with the American medics to do trauma care, like going into the trauma centre and doing like lifetime operational stuff on people, and then coming back and passing on the knowledge to us. Went down and put the medics out the back of the BM to look after Chad. I raced up with my vehicle, Ryan Tyndall and another fella, and started putting in supportive fire into the hillside where Chad got engaged from. Ryan's gone and grabbed Chad. Now, Ryan, as I said, he was 65 kilos. Chad's got 40, 50 kilos on him. Grab Chad. I've got you, mate. Dragging him out. And I think, poor old Ryan, you split his leg apart, brother. So whatever was holding his leg together, what little bone was left, got snapped by Ryan, saving his life, mind you. Dragged him out. And all good. Like, at the end of the day, all good. Chad made a full recovery. Went back to his family. It was our first Cat A casualty, so prior one casualty to get home. So you saw our American attachments for rescue med helicopters. Like, you've never seen a helicopter do cool shit until you see a Chinook go sideways off a mountain. You think it's crashing. It's just flying. It's just falling off the cliff to gain speed sideways. Takes them away. Yeah. It was cool. You never seen a company sergeant major do his job properly until he's going up with a laugh to the guy that's on a stretcher and taking his G-Shock wash off and going, "We might need this, mate. Have a good trip. Have a safe trip home." Everyone come together and did exactly what was required to prosecute, to rescue Chad and then continue on with the op. And that that particular incident shaped the next couple of days of operations, doing extended lines through the green belt of the adjoining villages and stuff where these guys had come from.
Yeah, right.
So that Alpha Company got involved into pretty much a 3-day clearance of that whole. So this is a mountaintop team. Around the mountaintop is the green belt where all the water runs down. There's trees and homes and stuff. And we basically went from door to door for the next 3 days, like just rolling through, and pulled a lot of persons under capture from that. Took a lot of MVI, medium value insurgents and targets, etc. from that, and that in turn generated a lot of intelligence for future operations for the next 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. From everything we do has an effect. Like economics, you pull one lever, it's going to screw up something over here. Pull the left hand down, your right hand goes up.
Yeah, right.
Got a lot of we got a lot of runs on the board those couple of days, you could say, and learnt a lot of things as well. And we med teams really hadn't been put through the paces until then. Once that sort of synced in, the company as a whole was just so tight. Because we knew every single person and every team knew exactly what to do and when to do it. And if the incident ever came up, everyone was looked after. It was the Alpha Company really started firing on all cylinders then.
And is this where, over the next years, mate, that the knife's getting sharper and sharper? Like, you guys are
getting sharper and sharper, and it's getting more and more dangerous as well.
Yeah. So you come back from that first rotation, mate, and are you just like, I want more? Like, is this...
We were running hot. We were running really hot, like mentally. Like, you've come back and you've just been keyed up, both mentally and physically. Like, we came back studs. Like, you fed like a king. I've never eaten so much crocodile as I have in the desert in Afghanistan. Like, because you get your food flying. Like, just anyone listening, like, wrap your head around that. Like, I'm in Afghanistan eating crocodile at the mess. Like, come on.
Yeah, I've heard some of the battalion guys say they were eating ration packs. Yeah, SF boys were on.
Well, this is where you do the hearts and minds. We'd always take extra goffers and gumpies, chocolates and Powerades and stuff out with us, and we see our Five Eyes compadres outfield who are doing it tough, drinking water out of warm water bottles and stuff, would pull out some Powerades and some chocolates and stuff and go, you guys get some decent food into you. And just see kids at crit, like the poor kids getting a water bottle on the UN videos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like these poor diggers are just sitting out there in the sun. They get this blue Powerade bottle given to us. Like, oh my God. Thank you, mister, thank you.
But I think too, what it shows is that, and I know some of the guys in battalion saw you guys actually going out and doing the job properly. Not like normal infantry, or what infantry could have done, but political things get in the way of that. And they, and we'll get into the whole thing of how the war ended later on, and the SF being overused and all this sort of, that conventional battalions could have done the work. Not taking anything away from you guys, but they could, I've done enough podcasts now to realise, where it went.
Political tutoring.
So, and a lot of the guys from battalion would actually come up and see you guys, what you guys were doing, and go...
And inspire guys to sign up, right?
100%, because as you guys are going out and hunting.
Yeah.
Not just sitting in a patrol base. Yeah,
digging a gun pit and then sitting in there, and that's it.
Exactly. and if there was a contact, great, we can do our job. But if not...
but bad guys have got to come to them.
That's right. And you guys are going out. You guys are... So you're walking tall, mate.
Walking tall, all five, 6 of me.
another gong, mate, on the chest. And so 2008, what are you doing, like... Marxie's lost, and what are you doing when you get back in 2008?
Get back, it was as hard as you went operationally. We went hard decompression wise, because decompression wasn't a thing back then. You come back, you clean out all your gear, you make sure you haven't got any Afghan grass seeds for what grass it was before you come back through customs. Sign your weapons in, see you boys back in 6 weeks, and what little money what wages you saved up on your first banging in trip were quickly decimated, going hard. So again, as hard as we went operationally, we went just as hard on the bars and stuff through King's Cross and Northies, pretty much. And then it was because we knew rinse and repeat. We're coming back to do it next year, and that was the rotation. So you come back, you'd go on leave, and then you'd either do your own personal development courses, your promotional courses, or your support courses, etc., or you'd be pulled into training the next reinforcement cycle coming through. So for us, and that was a rotation for 20 years essentially. Oh, then Tag East came in as well, so that's another rotation. So we knew what was going to happen 5 years ahead on a macro scale, right? So you knew what you were going to do. So guys would come back, but we'd actually look at going away on operations hunting as a reprieve. That was our downtime, because you never spend more time away from your families and loved ones. You're never as busy as you are here at home, upskilling yourself or upskilling other people, or then used as a showpiece for politicians or some foreign logistics general coming over that wants to see something cool. So you've got to do a dog and pony show for them, rather than just concentrate on getting the guys rested, mentally well, physically well, and getting them set for the next Green Rolls hunting trip. So that was the rotation. So that was 2000. So we did 2007 Afghanistan, East Timor, come back straight away into 2008 Afghan, then had that 4 month and 2 month period off, and did it again. So it was 1 year on, 1 year on, 8 months. One trip on, 2 trips off. Right. That was the rotation. Just bam, 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 just rolling along. And second rotation, we got through heaps more runs on the boards. We did a really good operation in Helmand when the Brits were bringing in some hydro generators to the dam at Kajaki.
This is 09 now?
Correct, yeah, we're going to 09. We did some shaping operations in Helmand where the Brits were just getting their asses handed to them, trying to go door to door, and they're just getting really heavy casualties. So we bounced out there, full complement of Alpha Company. There was a good video of Mason Edwards, rest in peace, with an RPG ripping over his head, and he's doing He's doing the carnival shooting gallery chicken gun from ting ting ting, trying to find his helmet while all these explosions are going up around him. We're looking over from the side laughing.
And at that point too, had Brett Till passed?
Yes,
and Damo had lost his legs?
Brett Till passed. I'm pretty sure he went over with the reserve regiment, that one commando.
No, he's with Bravo.
He was Bravo.
He was with Bravo.
Yeah, he passed after.
So you guys had come in after, right.
Yeah.
And so, and you mentioned Mace, and we're going to...
we'll go into that after his second rotation. So
the second rotation, are you still in mortars at this point?
Yeah, second rotation, I've been bumped up to section commander for that.
Yep.
So more responsibility rather than running my car and making sure that the guys have plotted the correct information into their mortar tubes. I'm actually running the whole det now, so that was a pretty cool step up. And
are you full track at this point?
I was a full track at this point.
Right.
At this point, for the conventional army, that's a sergeant's position, but as long as you've got the range qualifications to do it, which I do, that's why you're so busy when you get home.
Yep.
Over I went as a corporal to run the det. Run the team, so that was a bloody cool experience. And as I said, we went into Kajaki. This is how some of the force elements went down into door to door while we were shaping bombs out in front of them, etc. This is how weird they are. They got so little to do over in Afghanistan. We pumped these Taliban. I absolutely pumped them. And they jumped off in the loudspeaker. Thanks, guys. Good fun. We'll see you in the morning. Right. Are these guys serious? We're talking multiple runs on the board.
Wow.
Absolutely pumped them. And they go, we'll just get some more people up. It was good. That was fun, guys. See you tomorrow. We'll do it all again. Buy a Scrabble board.
Different way of thinking, eh?
It goes. You spend that much time in the sun, you get cooked, man. You're not meant to stay. You're not meant to be that hot that long.
No. There's and it's a good point you touch on that. It's 50 degrees and altitude. You're
high altitude.
High altitude. Like, would you try and jack on some weight because you'd lose it when you were deployed? Because you guys were at altitude, you'd drop so much weight when you're in country.
Any FE guy, any guy that wasn't mortars will be laughing at this, because I was the only guy that actually put on weight overseas. Because if you're mortars, you're that indirect support capability. If they get in the ship fight, we can drop bombs over to get the guys that are shooting at you, right? So we normally get left back in the vehicle drop-off location, hence why I've had the ability to detach guys to go out and be a commando. I would. Yep. So their skills didn't atrophy sitting in the back looking after a car park, right? So, yeah, we wouldn't be walking in 10 kilometres. We did a few of them, but not to the guys doing back-to-back walk-ins of 10, 15 kilometres in, do a job, walk back out, get 2 hours rest, and then drive to a new location, sleep 2 hours through the day in 50-degree heat under a plastic canopy, and then do it all again. Like, we did that. That's that 6-week op I'm talking about with Langers.
Right.
Like, what we did and what the guys put themselves through. Yeah, so putting on size, yeah, everyone tried to put on size because, like, KFC got bashed, like, before going away. But, yeah, I never came back skinny. Moral of the story, you want to be big, go mortars.
So you're punching it in. It's a kinetic deployment again.
Same deal. Just we're starting to drift towards Bushmasters and helos at this time because the ID threat's starting to spool up. But yeah, same deal. We're pushing out further outside of the Tarankout area.
Uruzgan,
through Uruzgan, through the bowl there.
So you're going into Helmand at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going west to Helmand, and we're also pushing up against the border of Pakistan out towards that way as well, and doing ops out there. So trying to get all the boys, all the bad guys coming over the border. Thanks, UN. To get the guys there as they come together, learn how to make bombs to kill Australians and Americans. We'll get them over there. So yeah, we're basically spreading. Both SAS and Commandos are going out and doing like precision. We're doing more heavy saturation, whereas SAS are going out and doing their putting their skill sets to use and getting some really good runs on the board precision wise there as well.
Yeah, right.
And then rinse and repeat, and we come back. So no losses there. So another clean deployment. We have a couple of years off because our company does a rotation onto tactical assault group, and so that was a year posting into that, which is where I do all my sergeant's courses.
Because this is where, and for the non-listener, and we'll highlight here too the change from 4 RAR Commando
thank you.
To the 2nd Commando Regiment.
So this is during rotation 4. So go back to it, listeners. Go back to our first deployment for Alpha Company. They get us all into the orders room, which was also our lounge room where we could play table tennis and stuff like that. We're putting in nominations for the name of the new regiment. We've been given the green light to get our Special Forces accolades and badge. One of the lads actually in my company designed the badge.
Yes.
Yeah, you know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah. Langers spoke about it.
Good. I think actually Langers said I can't talk about it, nor can I.
Yes. We'll leave his name out.
Yeah, we'll leave his name out. And any names you'd like to give up for the regiment. So everyone put their names forward and we got a vote on it. The vote was just a dog and pony show. The higher echelons, or the higher commander already picked the name, but we want to give the boys some sort of put in. Not that we're going to listen to them anyway. But 2 Commando was given the green light to be established, and from its 4 early days.
And the old double diamonds, mate. The independent companies of World War II, and and the dagger, and I'll let you say the motto of
Forus ad manito,
that's
or
it.
without warning.
Yes.
Which are on my lawn bowls. Full banging it in.
Yeah, I love it.
Full banging it in one lawn bowl at a time.
Love it. And so that happens, and Langers speaks about it really well, like that. It was foresight from,
Forsyth,
from Mark Smethurst and all those guys to take you away from conventional army and have you as the SF,
Yes, yeah. And so no longer are we just the RAR. We've stepped up on par with SAS, basically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of animosity between the two regiments. And as we've spoken ad nauseum, at the end of the day, it's just an effing job. Each group try to do it the best they can,
Exactly.
leave the egos out of it, and let the runs speak for themselves.
And, we spoke off air, mate, of that Afghanistan just pushed you guys, your capability forward.
But from generations that it took the boys over west to earn their pedigree and maintain their pedigree, we got it in a very rapid amount of time. But we're hunting. We're in war the whole time. So it wasn't a peacetime evolution of our skill set. It was wartime.
And guys are dying.
Yeah.
You guys had to be fluid and dynamic
that's
and
right.
evolve, because if you didn't, more guys were going to get lost.
Correct.
And we're going to get into O10 in a minute. And you mentioned Mace had passed, and rest in peace, and that was in pre. And I often wonder why he's not included in the because he was he was preparing for a deployment.
Correct. You are gazetted for warlike service in your lead up training. Yeah, because you are doing the stuff you do in a war. So I don't know why he hasn't got a place of honour down in the War Memorial, but they have just established a people lost in training section down there, I do believe. So I'm no doubt his name will go there, but we're training we're doing our final assessment to be put on the aircraft to come over for our third rotation as a company to Afghanistan. And unfortunately, through many errors, minuscule errors, that tiny little scratches that end up being a giant axe wound. Well, unfortunately, Mace wore it through the head and died in training leading up to our third rotation. So 3 weeks of pre-deployment sort of reduced activity in stand down was spent getting lawyered up down in Canberra saying you killed Mason because of this. Well, hell no. And there's just lawyers poking fingers trying to get someone to quote unquote take the bullet from a legal standpoint, which someone had to be blamed. Unfortunately, a good man went down because of it, because he was thrown under the bus essentially, and Mace wore the catastrophic effects of lots of errors.
Yeah, he did, and it
not a day goes by.
No, mate, and go back and listen to 114 with Andy Steele, who was his team commander, and Andy talks about that day, and as Kurt said as well, it's rest in peace, mate. It's all these guys that you serve with are all great humans, and that the world is a lesser place.
And they'll be remembered as great humans as well, which is all you can ask for. Again, you go out wanting to do your job well, knowing you've done your job well, knowing that you're at peace as well. So if you get those three little notches, then you're pretty good.
Mate, you lose Mace, and you rotate onto Tag, and talk me through that, because Tag is next level, and what was that like being on Tag?
Hang on, sorry, no, I've got a timing out of whack. So we lose Mace before going on to the third rotation.
Right.
That's where we have the fallen angel.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So you're on. Right. Let's go back.
So the prep for our rotation on to our company's third rotation, which I think was Rot 12.
Yep.
Lose Mace. No prep for that. No going over with all hearts and minds and fully rested, because we had to go through our court of inquiry down in Canberra. Mm-hmm. Straight over there and bang it in. Now that operation cycle moved into a hearts and minds more counterinsurgency mindset. So building up the hearts and minds of the locals to take over, to fight for themselves, versus us going in and doing all the hard work for them. So there's lots of med caps, lots of shuras, which a shura is just a meeting for all the village elders with our leadership groups to see what they want, what we can do for them. But at the end of the day, like as you saw with the pull-out, they're just waiting for the white guys to leave, and then it'll go back to the way it's always been for the last 400 years. And that's what that was.
How are you... So, and we're going to talk about Tag a little bit later on as well. How are you mentally at this point with the loss of Mace, and you didn't... If you had a crystal ball to see what was to come, how are you mentally at this point?
Yeah.
And how are you preparing? Because you're going back for the third time.
Yeah, going back for the third time. Like, that shook. that put a lot of the cracks in the glass ceiling or the glass floor before going over. So, like, because it was an accident, it shouldn't have happened. Everyone's prepared to wear a bullet in the face overseas, not when you're training, and it shouldn't have happened, and it did, and that shook everyone to the core. So we're not going over there 100%. No one was, and the ripple effect of Mace going as well. Because we're stuck out at the down in Coltana, we had to deal with that for another 3 days before we came back to Sydney, and we know poor old Mace is sitting in someone's freezer, sitting in a town's freezer at Coltana. Everyone had to stew on that, and yeah, it was super hard to deal with. The ripple effect of that dropped about 5 dudes just with the intent of discharging after this trip, because they couldn't discharge coming over on the third rotation. They knew they were getting out, because they just lost one of the best men around, same as everyone else that's unfortunately made the ultimate sacrifice. They are always the best men, and it's nice to say that in retrospect, but it genuinely is. Like Beardy, Woodsy, Marksy, Woosher, Todd in contact. Did call bombs from my detachment in on himself when I was a mortar commander. I've gone, confirm this location. He goes, yeah, we're good. I said, no tries, danger close. Boop. And you see Todd and his boys doing the swastika chicken air run down the mountain because they've just called bombs in on themselves. So yeah, Todd in contact, mate. Love you, whatever you're doing now up top, but you did that to yourself, brother. So we're going overseas, not 100%. Physically, maybe. Mentally, no. We had the ticks in the box to do the job, but mentally, we're going, oh shit, we're actually human. Alpha Company's human. We've actually lost a dude, and we lost him in training. So we did the hearts and minds, the counterinsurgency roles, because it was just getting too expensive. Trillions of dollars of debt, both from America and Australia, like putting our guys and girls in harm's way. So Afghanistan, start stepping up for yourselves. Like, this is your backyard, fight for yourselves, right? And then that was 3.5 months, and I can't really remember any of the operations that we did other than being a 2IC of my team, because I'm out of mortars at this time. I'm doing green roll stuff, but my brain's basically pulled all 3 trips into one trip, and every now and again one particular moment will come out and I'll go, oh shit, what rotation's that from? So I can't remember anything poignant from that deployment. It was pretty low speed. But then we're going in to do other than Tizak.
Yeah, Shawali Kite. Yeah,
that's one I do remember.
The 5 day. Yeah, so mate, let's talk about that, because
almost just glossed over battle honour.
You did, mate. You did. Like it's
just a little swimming pool.
I understand, mate. I get it. Like they all mesh into one, but yeah, the Battle of Shawali Kite, mate. And I've spoken to a few boys that were in that battle and were part of that. They remember losing water. Like they had all their water on the first. Sucking the water, gone on the first.
Yeah, so it was a late night drop off by Hilo, and then November platoon was my platoon. We did into a shaping cordon essentially. So our teams would go out, snipers, recon, we're up high, getting some overview, some area commentary of what's going on around these particular villages that we wanted to look at to see if we could get some high value targets. And the rest of us were spread down different access routes like creek lines, etc. Just to get some commentary of all these passage of life, people coming in, coming out, fighting age males, kids. The biggest trigger for any battle coming up was all the women and children that start leaving. And if that started happening, you know that, okay, something's going to happen soon. The boys are down in their rakes and shovels, and they're picking up AKs and RPGs, and I think we're going to have a bit of fun. So that started happening, and then our snipers started getting engaged, and so started doing counter sniper fire back. That was it would have been in the morning, and this is we had a resup of water like day 3 or so. And then the boys sucked the internal plastic of their water bottles out on top of that hill because they're sitting up in 55 degree heat because they're about 1,000 metres higher than everyone else. And so the outer cordons got called back in because the boys started receiving some pretty significant fire. They needed some backup basically and some reprieve. So they pulled all the outer cordon in. We started canvassing everyone's extra ammunition or water that they didn't typically, like what we could actually give out or resupply the guys up on top of the hill that were getting precisely engaged. And we started shifting all our ammunition and water bombs, typical 2RC stuff, water bombs resupply to the guys that needed it. And then that kicked on for probably another day and a half. But that night, the hornet's nest that we stirred up turned into BS getting his VC.
And was that, like, because I just had Paul Burns on, so the SASR CO, and he spoke about the battle, and there's a book that's just come out, The Last Battle, talking about Shawali Kot, and that it was, the biggest battle in the Afghanistan.
Yeah, it was a battle.
Yeah,
it was a battle.
It was a battle.
It was probably the most accolade-driven battle, but it was a battle. Both SAS and 2 Commando have had significant battles that would probably be on par, if not higher, in comparison to what happened there. It's just the effect, the level of leadership group that was decimated and sent to Allah.
Yes,
was higher than anywhere else.
Well,
so
you've only got to look, mate.
They got what they wanted. That's all right.
Look, DA Nile back in 06. You look at Perth.
Yep.
Those were bigger battles.
Correct.
But as you say, Shawali Kot is the battle that most people would, well, most listeners would know.
Yeah, that's right.
As you said, most accolade battle and was it pretty much like from date, like as soon as you guys hit the ground, it was kinetic, like.
No. From what I can remember, because my team in particular pushed quite far out, like probably a K and a half out.
Yeah, right.
Down into some creek line junction, and we were just chasing the shade around there, so we couldn't get disrupted, or anyone couldn't see us with our camouflage paint on, looking through the leaves at them in a hide. So we're quite far out, but I can remember being in that position and just shifting around at night time, probably 2 or 3 days before it actually kicked off. So right. I don't actually remember it going loud per se. I just remember when it did go loud, it was get your asses back. Boys on top of the hill need some support.
Yep.
And then that night it went off even higher. And yeah,
right. And that's it's a because
everyone's experience is different. And mine was quite low speed for that. For the biggest battle ever, like mine was quite low speed, unfortunately. which I'm not regretful for either.
No, and you as you like, this is your third deployment, mate. You've done kinetic fighting in the previous two, like so you're over there, mate, and then. Let's go forward to a day that you'll never forget. Yeah, so... The 21st of June, 2010.
We're so close to coming home. We've already started doing our D-service. So we've started all the extra bits of fighting equipment we didn't need. We've D-serviced it. We've cleaned it. We've run a inspection sheet over all our equipment. We've started to clean our thongs, all our stuff we're going to bring home. We're ready to come home. We've got this one last job to do. I think it was like 4 days before. We're going to return to Australia. Jump in the helicopters at night. We're going on final approach to this particular village. And the word comes up. All of a sudden, the helicopter just pulls up, just goes 200 feet in the air, just poof, just pops up all of a sudden. Everyone's going, what the heck? Our doors are open. We're ready to, we're 4 minutes out. We're starting to open up doors, undo our strops, ready to go, go hunt this village, break down some doors. And the helicopters pull up, and the command fallen angel comes over. We're going, why do I know that? It's given every single set of orders. You're given, in case a bird goes down, that's the code word. But no one actually, okay, like, cool, what's going to happen? The chopper's not going to fall out of the air. Well, it fucking did. And I only just saw, like, it's been 10 years, right? It's over 10 years. It's been a while, but I only just recently saw the photos of the fire trail of that bird going in. And, that stirred up some memories. Anyway, so the fallen angel, and then we get the word, the bird's gone down, and it was every bird was full with 12 people, 12 to 14 passengers, and heavily overloaded. and it's gone down about 200 kilometres an hour onto the hard ground and rolled for about 150 metres and set on fire. And so all the birds, all the other helicopters touched down to go into positions of support to try and get this guys out of this helicopter to provide immediate first aid and get them to primary care. We were running forward into this. It was chaos. Like, there was no real command structure except, or there was no like focused order. It was just get the guys out. We can deal with everything afterwards, because that big fire trail is going to bring in a lot of bad guys. You know what I mean? So we're rushing in, and we're getting the whiz bang, the crack thump around our heads. Going, are we in tick? Are we in contact here? Because like, we're getting a lot of gunfire thrown at us, and what it is, it's because the helicopter's on fire.
The ammo's cooking off.
All the ammunition's cooking, and it's just shooting out 360. And we're going, like, it was the volume of fire, like how no one got shot from a cook-off is amazing, but like the crack thump whiz going around our heads as we're running into that helicopter, like shaking off bloody avgas flames off our boots because we're just running through to get to the guys. Like, how no one died is amazing. And that would have been about 4 a.m. by the time we got the guys on the bird. Pete Rutland nearly bled out because everyone just got stuffed into a position of space on every helicopter we could. And when they got back to TK, when they're hosing out the helicopter, they're going, shit, there's another dude still here, because he was tucked under the seats. Because it's all dark, right? Yeah. So people hide in the shadows, like he was tucked away, and they're just about to start hosing out the helicopter, and they go, shit, Pete's still here, like drag him out, first aid, etc. So it was chaos. It wasn't just chaos on site, but it was chaos back at Townsville, because they've got 12 casualties coming in, 3 KIA.
Yeah, and Pete was a previous guest on the podcast, so go back and listen to his episode and what he talks about that day. And you lose Tim Applin, Ben Chuck, and Scotty Palmer.
Scotty Palmer.
And Brendan Silk from
the pilot.
The crewie from... Yeah, so...
4 dudes. 3 intimately, 4 overall, just like that.
Yeah.
From again, an accident. And now it comes out that a weather balloon came up on their approach line that they didn't know about ahead of time, so they had to adjust their flight path at last minute, and then hit a pocket of air or whatever and splat. Things always come out, man. Which it's just an accident. So once again, we started the trip with an accident, and we're finishing the trip with an accident. No guns, no shots fired except what was getting cooked off of us.
And that's mass cas, mate. Like, you know, and what happens. You know, it's not the last time that Alpha Company would lose, you know. It's
12 months later.
2 years later. Sorry, you know, Merv and Nate, they would lose their life in a helicopter. So Alpha Company and helicopters, mate, just
don't work.
Didn't work well. And
Da Vinci should have built that initial helicopter better, right?
And you'd serve with these guys, and you know, you'd serve with Scotty Palmer, you'd serve with
Scotty and Tim came into the Alpha Company later on, but Ben Chuck was part of the direct entry scheme from way back. And I think he was rotation 3 that came, so he was with me from the outs. We came up through together. Absolute humble like human, just excellent at the job. Every single guy that goes, good at their bloody job. Like, they're good dudes as well.
Yeah.
Tim's always good for a coffee out the back, coffee and a ciggy out the back of the accommodation. If you couldn't find Scotty's probably got his visor cap on, running around the base camp somewhere doing 17 PT sessions a day, and they're a good dude. So we came back. That was our decompression from that trip. Come back from our 3rd rotation, and we're doing a funeral procession around all of Australia to bury these studs.
Did you guys, like, you lose the guys, do you guys do the ramp ceremony, or you follow them all the way home?
We did, yeah. So
what was that? That would have been tough.
Yeah, well, we weren't sitting in a nice comfy chair at that time. We're strapped to the sides of the aircraft with the boys' remains and the coffins on the whole way back, and then the ramp ceremony. So again, not only have you lost the guys in conflict, it's not like they've just taken away and you just roll on, soldier on. You're bringing the boys home, and not to mention just us that were involved there. It's the guys back at the base at Townsville that have to go and like maintain a security post on the guys' remains in the freezers. at the hospital and stuff like that. Like, again, so many ripples. There's so many touch points. There's so many people to one particular incident that is reflected upon 1,000 times over the next decades of people's lives. There's no winners in war, basically, and unfortunately, and the way the guys went out, no one would wish that upon anyone. But yeah, we come back, do the ramp ceremony, see the people, see the families. Hardest parts, or for me particularly, is always the music. As soon as the music plays, and you look, you can't help but your eyes are drawn to the family and the loved ones, and if there's kids, it's like, it's not ideal.
You know, Tim was 38.
Yeah.
And a family man, and you know, his story is one of, you know, he was a sergeant that
he was stepping up to company sergeant major. He goes, you know, I'm going to be a dumb digger again and
go back
with the boys.
Yeah, and mate,
he could have taken the easy glide path for the rest of his life and be in the RSM army. He goes, no, I'm 38. I'm still mobile. My knees still work. I still want to bang it in, and he did so. Yeah,
and he was from all the guys I've ever spoken to say that he was just a. Like you say, mate, these humans they're great humans, and they will be remembered as great humans, so they should be. Yeah. And that, so are you going, like, that's the last time?
That's my last Afghan deployment.
Yeah. So
because I got bumped to run mortars, to run a range practice, you need rank as part of a range practice, standing orders, etc. So I missed out on doing any private security detachments, looking after any politician that went overseas. I missed out on all that because I didn't get to step through the lower positions to a point of PSD commander. So that was my last trip to Afghanistan. So all three
shit way to end it, mate.
Horrible way to end it, mate. And then we came back and did a year on team. That was our rotation team after that. So it was a good sort of reset. A lot of guys discharged, a lot of new guys came in, and we did the lead up and then constant evolutions of training on team. My position there was Lance Corporal. So I was, again, Team 2IC, so I was basically doing bullets and bombs, but at the same time I did 9 months' worth of courses outside of running on team. So my experience on team, this will come into fact later on as to why I'm mentioning this, but my whole experience on team was as a Team 2IC, not a team commander. I didn't run a team through any building. I just looked after the bullets and bombs for the platoon, made sure everyone had, and did range safeties and all that sort of stuff. That was my year on team.
Yeah, right. And like at this point, right, you'd lost the guys.
Yeah.
You'd come back. How are you travelling mentally? You starting to know there's cracks?
I'm starting to slow down. Angry all the time. It didn't really hit for the first year. So from here, my then wife, you've only got a certain window to have a kid, and so I kept missing those windows. So I thought, you know what, I'll take a training posting for 3 years to the Special Forces Training Centre, which was just adjacent to the regiment. Mm-hmm. So I went there and became a training role. So I had touch points of hundreds of men coming through. I became the roping cell assistant, and then eventually to a sergeant there, but took that reprieve off the tour, so I was away from the boys. So then all of a sudden I was just ripped away, took a pay cut to go there, and then away from the boys, my basic sounding board, so didn't have that mental health system, and it wasn't such a thing back then, and started to atrophy over the next couple of years, to the point where my then marriage with child broke apart, and went through a marriage separation, which is obviously really good for your mental health and stability, that you couldn't even maintain a marriage. So that was another little nail pulled out of the coffin that holds all the emotions down that every man has, the little black box in your chest. And so things started to come out. My performance, although it was professional at work, when I wasn't at work, I started doing a lot of dumb stuff. Didn't really have a zest for life, didn't care.
So
PTSD and depression, undiagnosed this time, started seeing a psych, and she's going, oh, actually, you know what, you're a part of the chopper crash. Oh, I've been waiting for you guys to come in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the guys in Alpha Company had like had a flag, not a flag, on their medical report saying, be prepared, these guys will come in. And like there've been a couple of suicides of late and things like that. So, started getting some help while I was at Special Forces Training Centre. Put a lot of guys through, suffered a broken marriage, then eventually the time came up to go back into Alpha Company. I got a deployment while I was at the SFTC to go to Iraq as part of their build-up to combat against ISIL and ISIS, which was pretty cool. So back into Alpha Company, back into the teams, back with the boys.
And you're still losing guys at this point. Like we mentioned, guys are still getting killed.
Lost Chidge.
You're losing Chidge. You're losing, Merv. You're losing Nate. You lose Cam.
Yeah.
Like all these guys.
It's just bang.
It's just bang. Like
yeah.
And this is the thing. Like there's only so much time that you can compartmentalise something before it starts to. The damn walls break.
The refresher comes in. You just start dealing with it, getting on with life, and the refresher of someone else biting it, paying the ultimate sacrifice comes in. It's like, God damn it! When will it stop?
And it's not and this is what I want to highlight too to the civilian listener. Mate, you're only wearing polys when you're losing guys. Like you guys don't wear your polys.
Yeah, we don't do
polys.
All your battalion boys, we don't do guard duty. You're welcome.
You don't do drill. Like I know some of the guys I spoke to that said we had to learn how to do like the ceremonies of carrying the coffins. Like it's just not normal. Like
No, it brings it to home. What you're doing, like you're playing G.I. Joe, but when you're playing G.I. Joe as a kid, you put your kids down back in the toy box, right? Well, the toy box for us is in the dirt. And that's where you put your kid. That's where you put your guys down. So it really comes home.
And you're losing great guys, like you said. You lose after the 2010 deployment. I want to highlight this to the listener. The listeners, I should say, is that you lose Brett Wood, a guy that you served alongside, an icon of the regiment.
He took me under his wing for rotation on the tag. Yeah.
See? This is what I mean. Like these guys are, and I know Bergs talks about being his 2IC was the pinnacle of his career.
Yeah.
Like he was just the ultimate professional, a great guy. You lose him, you lose Todd. And you lose, and from SOA you lose Rowan.
Yes.
All in it, and then all these they're starting to stack up, mate. Like and this, I can understand why you're not okay. Like this is, and things are starting to leak out, and you can't control it. Yeah, and so
self-doubt, all that sort of stuff starts coming up,
and that has an effect, mate. Like it's, and so. And at this point, as we say, like, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, this is the sharpest that 2 Commando is.
Yep.
Then after 2013, is this where the knife starts getting blunter and blunter to be basically a butter knife?
We start scaling back from Afghan, and the focus is on Iraq, but even that's just a small shaping force. So we go over there. My role over there was as a offensive fires trainer. So I was basically training. We got embedded in a training advisory role with the 2nd Special Forces Company. So myself and another counterpart, we get there, we go over and have a shura, have a sit down with their leadership group, all the sergeants and above. We get taken out to the boys about the Iraqis about to do their first hit out. First offensive, and Kurt, would you like to say some words? I beg your pardon? I just came over to talk about how we're going to train you guys. These guys are going to go out and fight for the next 2 weeks. Would you like to say something to send them on their way? So I had to scramble some word salad together pretty quick for them to translate through, and basically told them, like, trust your man, trust your leaders, trust your equipment. We'll see you when you get home. We're going to do some really cool stuff when you get back. And we eventually did start training up. I trained up about 12 of their men to learn how to call for fire support and Kazakhstan helicopters and things like that, and put that training regimen down onto paper, and that got carried on by the next few rotations coming through. So that was my responsibility in Iraq. But then I got pulled back early because I had the rank of sergeant to come back and be the lead planner of the tactical assault group.
Well, let's talk about. So I'm going to just go back for a second, and we'll come back to that in a second. You mentioned Chigi,
Yep.
So, and I had Shane Cabell on the podcast.
Oh yes,
yeah, talking about that day, and how he was, joking with him 20 minutes before.
Yeah.
Chidge tragically
desk popped it.
Took his own life, and rest in peace, Chidge. All these guys, they're all great guys, and I want to mention them on the podcast, mate, because you served alongside them.
Yeah, Chidge is one of my boys as well.
That's right. Like, he was one of your boys,
one of my diggers.
And this is the thing, mate. Like, good guys are starting to go.
Yeah.
And you're still trying to crack on with the job, do your job. You did your sergeant's course. What was that like? Because, you're mentally starting...
So this is the thing we can do. Like, when you're overseas, you're invested. Like, everyone goes, oh, it's so hard. Like, what are you thinking about home and stuff? No, you're not. You're thinking about the job. Yeah, so you can compartmentalise, as you just said. So you can just hone in. You're going to focus for the next 3 months on eat, sleep, shit, shoot, repeat. And I'm going to come back, and the last 4 days before we start coming back to Australia, then I start thinking, I wonder what I'm going to do. I wonder if my plants are alive at home. It's just random shit like
Paying
that.
bills or...
Yeah. So you get compartmentalised. So when I was doing all my snakes courses, all my sergeant's courses, I focused in on that. So I got SOM for my sub-2 for sergeant, and had really good rapport with the guys, a lot of the officers that I was speaking to, because we had both OR... other ranks and enlisted and the officers. It was a combined course, so I actually got to take a lot of junior lieutenants taken away, plant the seed in their head, and 4 out of the 6 guys I talked to actually became captains in both SAS and Commando.
Right.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I had a lot of fun on that course, but then got invested in that. But because I was so invested in that, I was in Singleton. I was only 3 hours away from home. I was only an hour and a half up the road from Sydney, but I couldn't come back. So I spent so much time, and then I did some other courses, like officer NCO courses for mortars down in Victoria. So when I was saying earlier, you go overseas, that's actually a reprieve. You get to sleep, you get to bit of downtime, read some books, play Call of Duty, because when you're in Australia, you're so fucking busy.
Yeah.
And that obviously helped the marriage breakdown as well, because I just wasn't here. So I just got invested in the courses, got focused on the courses, but when I came back out with all the cracks starting to appear, I just wasn't there as a family man. And then that broke down. Then I went to Iraq as a divorcee and a separated dad.
Not probably one of many that would be, what is it? If you're not as you go up the ranks, if you haven't had 2 divorces.
Yeah, if you haven't had a divorce by a warrant officer, you haven't been doing it right. Yeah. There's a reason there's lots of temporary accommodation in the sergeant's mess, because your loved ones or your partners are married to the regiment just as much as you are, if not more.
Well, recently just had Emma Donaldson on the podcast, and she spoke about 7 deployments with...
and just had to put her life on hold while Mark did his thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then throwing a Victoria Cross and being a veteran herself.
So the true studs and true heroes, I believe, are the ones we leave at home to maintain the home front, because we're away with the boys. We're having fun, in air quotes, like we're doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
They're stuck at back, taking the dog to the vet, making sure the kids are shit showered and fed, and make sure school's good, and we're just twiddling thumbs waiting for our next gunfight. So it's the loved ones that are left at home that really should get the accolades that we get, and unfortunately, it's a hard balance to make for regiments to manage the home front. Lots of failures have happened, but anyway. So
let's talk now. You do your sergeant's course, and we've just mentioned, you rotate onto tag, and then we've mentioned,
so as a lead planner, is that where
yes,
we're at?
Yeah.
So I got pulled back from Iraq early with the intent to come onto team to take over as lead planner for when Alpha Company came on. Actually, no, I got bounced into a different company. So I got pulled out of Alpha Company, moved into Charlie Company. and took over a role from a guy that had been doing it for a long time and had moved through the certain steps as a digger to 2IC to section commander to planning assistant 3-1 to 1-1. There's about 5 or 6 steps you move from 2IC to get to lead planner. The powers that be saw that I wore the rank and said you could do the job, and said off you go. So I skipped all these learning progression steps straight into a responsibility where you've got civ pole, you've got air assets, you've got 90 men underneath you that you're planning and running the training
no
for.
No
fail. And just even without doing the job, the load and expectation, whatever pressure I was under, whatever cracks that were there already, that turned them into fissures, and I just started going down. Like, I was isolated. I had platoon sergeants coming up to me going, "Kurt, why don't you talk to the boys? Like, it's noticeable that you are by yourself all the time. Are you okay?" And unfortunately, when it came to do the serials to officially take over the role, I failed. I wasn't set up for success in the position, in the aspect of learning to do the job properly. I was just thrown in the deep end with concrete blocks on my feet and one arm tied behind my back, and just make it work, bro. No, it doesn't work like that.
No,
so that's like that psychological thing. Like the biggest critique of men is yourself. Once you get into your headspace, that is the end of it. It's a hard scrabble to pull yourself back out. And I want
to highlight this, and sorry to cut you off, because you've seen the likes of Nick, H.
Yeah.
They held this responsibility, and is this when you actually start to realise, oh shit, this role that they were in is very different to just being with the boys, just banging it in?
I said it to the internal posters before I came back to her. I said, I'm not ready for this role. I'm not suited for this role. No, you wear the rank. Then it was said, you wear the rank, you can do the job. This is from a person that has never done the job. Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately. So it wasn't, and to be fair, it wasn't just a letdown from me, on me. It was a letdown to everyone that I was responsible for, to be passing on this training, this skill set, this professionalism of core and responsibility. I let them down as well, because there's an expectation of a certain level of leadership, and I wasn't able to do that. So it was a shit situation for everyone. There were a lot of sort of clique bullying from the company that came into that as well, because of the role that the position that I went into. The guy didn't want to relinquish said position. There was a lot of nepotism in the company, and it wasn't nipped in the bud by the leadership group because the high command were too scared to jump in. And it broke me to the point where I had a safety issue with a paint simulation round. And again, another scratch. Wasn't sleeping. Everything was piled on. And I just went, click, it's done. And went into my platoon commander's office. Said, I'm leaving. I'm walking out of the tag right now. I'm going to a training position where I can still contribute back to the regiment, but I am cooked, and walked out. That was my time on tag.
Yeah, right. And
basically walked out on the job, essentially. In the job, not the job.
Wow. And mate, look, I get it. I understand that all these things, marriage breaks down, and like they say that after one rotation, and like this, we go back to World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, Korea. They had time to decompress.
Yeah.
You just went
bang,
right,
bang, bang.
And they say now psychologically that it takes a year to just decompress from one rotation. You were back to back to back, and then you have all these other incidents that happen. Mate, no wonder you're fucking cooked.
And just work pressure as well.
That's right.
Like, the can bloody pressure cooker eventually breaks down, right? Gets about 5 or 6 years out of it. I think I've heard somewhere anecdotally that the lifespan performance-wise of a special operator is around 7 years. I did it for 13. The guys that are still doing it, my hat's off to you. I don't know how you're doing it. But I did 13, and then all that extraneous impact of losing dudes and marriage, etc. It broke me. It really did. It really did. Snap me.
And mate, look, and mate, thank you for being vulnerable in that part of your career, because it's a hard thing to do, but it's important too to say, hey, you put your hand up and say, yeah, I fuck, like it was hard, and mate, like thank you for putting your hand up and speaking about it. And I want to talk about 2017. You pissed hot, and you discharged.
The Defence Force has a one-strike policy, and back then it didn't have its mental support set up well. And I'm wearing the outcome that I put myself in a position where I wasn't acting accordingly, and basically brought I didn't bring the uniform into disrepute because I wasn't wearing a uniform, but I was at the point in my life where work was work. I was doing work as professionally as I could, but when I went out, when I was in my own time, I didn't care what happened. I've got myself a dog, so I had something to come home to, because I was in that. If I didn't have something to come home to, I wouldn't have. It shows
how mentally...
right?
And I know exactly. You and I have spoken about this. I was the same. I turned to drugs when I was just before I ended my attempted suicide. It was... I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been there, and it was trying to escape the pain that you're in
without actually acknowledging why I was doing that. That's the big thing. All of a sudden, and of course, you think you're doing okay, but then your work performance starts dropping as well. So it's a snake chasing its own tail downhill, right? I was going to go see a doc about my back, and they've gone, no, we're doing a random drug test. I said, okay, cool, no dramas. Let's go, but I've still got to get to the RAP. No, you need to stay here. I said, what do you mean? Are you being targeted? For what? Like, what were you doing on the weekend? I said, what was I doing on the weekend? I was at a mate's place. And then, pissed hot. So mate got set up by his girl, and drinks were shared, and I pissed hot. Now, notwithstanding that, I've done some dumb stuff in my time, but that particular time, so pissed hot, and within about 6 weeks I was out of the army. 19 and a half years service. Thanks for coming. One incident, and that's what I mean, where I wasn't aware of my surroundings. I drunk myself into stupidity, basically, with the intent of catching an Uber home or walking home to my dog so I could feed it and maybe get some sleep and then do it all again the next day. So ruthlessly bounced out, and again another nail out of the emotional coffin, letting all the demons out, because I don't know what I joined when I was 17. I'm now 37. What do I do? What does my resume say? I can go to, like, what can you provide to McDonald's? I can shoot someone at the head moving at 300 meters, but I'd love to flip burgers for you. Like, what the fuck do you do after 20 years of service?
That's right.
So thankfully I had some mates that had already been out, and they set me up with some extra some jobs on the outside. So things do happen for a reason. There is a light side to this chat. You just got to remember, everything does happen for a reason. And I met my now beautiful wife and new family,
which we're going to talk about
on the way out. So I'd already been separated for a while. From my ex-wife, etc. And I was pretty much out of the Defence Force, discharge signed, because I'd already been seeing a psychologist for a while leading up to my discharge. I was pensioned, thank God, but then I needed something to do in my downtime, so I was set up with a close protection role where I ran a team managing a high net client for a year in Vaucluse, which got to fly around the world doing the other side. So I did actually get to tick the CPP box, the PSD box, doing CPP. So going through the slopes of Bavaria, going through the slopes of Bavaria, looking after it, going through 7-star accommodation, flying over in the gentleman's private 737.
Bloody hell.
A plane with its own kitchen. What would you like, Kurt? Like, it was an amazing experience, and I got to pay it forward by giving a few other dudes jobs and employment there, and it was a great stepping stone out of the Defence Force.
Because most guys and girls struggle, or both in veteran or first responders struggle with transition.
If you don't have something to do, the only place you're going is into the dirt. You need something to keep yourself busy. So thankfully I went into that. And then met my literal Disney princess, Sophie.
Let's talk about, because I know Soph has been an amazing... She's had an amazing impact on your life and your post with your recovery, with helping with recover to where you are now, and you've just become a father again, which is just
third time,
mate. So and
still got it.
Man, look at you go, mate, and
got it at least 3 times.
How important has the support of Soph been?
You need something to do, but you also need that intimate support, and you don't need if people find support through mechanisms of psychologists and psychiatrists, that's good. But you end up I think it's a double-edged sword. If you continue to talk about your problems, apparently it's supposed to get easier, but the wound's still raw. So I'd rather...
You're just putting a Band-Aid on it, really.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it until something did come up. And thankfully, Sophie is the sort of person that she's happy to listen to, and she can read my mannerisms when I'm starting to get a little bit edgy or a little bit cranky. If I'm being a CUNT, she'll tell me I'm being a CUNT, and that's the sort of the shock on it. Oh God, I wasn't even where I was doing that. Thank you. This is before having kids. So over the period of 8 years that we've been together now, she's been able to soften the dwarfish G.I. Joe, if you know what I mean. So. But what drew me to her when we started to get to learn each other is she did Disney contracts, Carnival Cruise contracts as a dancer and performer. At the same time, I was banging into the desert. So while I'm in this shit and sand, she's doing deployments of similar duration in the sparkles and sequins with dancing contracts and stuff. And it came to a head at one day. I come back and I'm running camera operations for her. She did an event through her Motif Dance Productions company at the Star. And I've got these glamorous showgirls stretching their legs past 180 degrees. I've got these camp guys talking the way they do. And I just started blushing, like so far out of my comfort zone from doing protection and security. I'm a warrior, and I've got all this entertainment and sparkle and feathers around. Where has life taken you, mate? And it's taken me into a bloody good place. And I'll say that, I've gone through all that hardship, and the hardship is still there. It's just the sharp edges have been taken off it, and it'll always be there because you're a result of the experiences that you've lived in, right? So it's always going to be there. The boys will always be remembered, but I'm onto a better path through Soph.
Absolutely, and I wanted to highlight that because, I recently just had Harry Moffat back on the podcast, and I remember in the first chat that we spoke about, and because he's just released another book, so it's called The Fourth Pillar. He said it to me in the very first time we actually recorded his podcast, was that he said, Adam, my greatest sacrifice is my family. He had a long career, 30 years in the military, and he said, my family suffered, and as you've said, and as every veteran and first responder who's ever worn a uniform, it's your family that suffers.
Always. And I canvassed that point earlier.
You did.
They're the ones that deserve it, not us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they go on the ride with you. They go on this journey with you, and that's why I wanted to highlight how important Soph has been in your post transition.
My rebuild.
Your rebuild. Yeah. Kurt 2.0. Yeah. So you do the CPP stuff for a little bit. Yeah. And then
that got shot to shit through one of your previous interviewees, Johnny Wynn.
Oh, right.
We won't go into that. And then move into a role at Google, of all things. Now, not hitting the keyboard on the computer, but actually went into an event space manager running their risk assessment and appraisal. So before I came there, Google just have their little sojourns and the little events at these random halls, random offices, and random like event spaces. But they didn't have any risk appraisal done upon it. So if someone, there's always a threat to a corporate entity, right? So if there was anything that happened to a what they call Google or a person on site at one of these events, they're in a lot of trouble. And so I went on with with my background and did risk assessments and appraisals on all these venues, which eventually got taken up by APAC Google and taken on basically through the Pacific region. As if you've got a certain person going off site, you need to run this paperboard over where they're going, and the high security teams will say yes or no if it's permitted or not. And we're talking from like 1,000-person events to 4 people in a room. So it's, again, got to take a little bit of skill sets that I learnt over the 20 years, well, mainly the 13. Didn't really learn much up in Townsville because I was stupid. But the 13 years down south here in Sydney, I learnt quite a lot. So I had to take that knowledge out and put it into place there for 2.5 years until COVID happened, and that fell to pieces because I was getting worked weekends and family life was suffering. And throw the towel in there and like start working on your mental health a bit, mate.
And that's, mate, I know it too, because I've had to work on my mental health throughout my journey, and where I was, 11 years ago, standing on the edge of a cliff saying this is it, to where I am now, mate, that, last weekend I met the Governor General.
Yeah, right.
And it's
how it turns.
How it turns, mate. And, anyone who listens to this, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Right? Yeah. Both Kurt and I are saying it, that if you're willing to do the work, and it is work, it's hard fucking work, it's not easy.
Stick it out, team.
Yeah, that's right.
Stick it out. The effect of you doing the final deed is a slap in the face to those who love you. Like, you may be struggling, but the struggle you will create from you thinking you need to end it hurts more.
Yeah. Well, it's, mate, as you say, the ripple effect is, and now because I've gone on to do work with Beyond Blue, it is, I'm now a volunteer speaker for them, and I've gone on and done my mental health training. The ripple effect is 100. It affects 100 people. That's just minimum 100. Like, there's more.
Imagine if that's for a single person. Imagine if you got a family of kids. So anyone listening to this, stick it out.
Exactly.
Don't stick it in.
Because it gets better, and you do that, mate. You start to do the work, and then, mate, you complete your MBA. Where does this come from?
This is.
So this is Kurt 2.0?
This is. I haven't done much work with it now. This was just an opportunity that was delivered from Wandering Warriors.
Yeah, right.
They put a call for noms up, and not many people were putting their hand out. So I thought, you know what, there's no harm, no foul from like putting your hand up. And for some reason, they took me thinking I was a smarty pants. And this is a guy that didn't finish high school, got taken on by UNSW AGSM for a full scholarship to complete an MBA. Now, the director at the time looked at me and said, "Well, you haven't finished high school. I don't think you're right for this program." So I politely told her, in uni speak, "Fuck off." I'll show you what I can do. And successfully passed that. And then whilst I was doing it, the final semester Sophie and I had our first child, Kai. So in that last semester, so for those who don't know, you do three periods of study for uni versus 4 seasons of the year. I did 5.5 subjects that last semester whilst getting ready for the birth of Kai.
Wow. Yeah, right,
just bashing it out to get it done. Probably attention to detail wasn't the best, but
HD's equal degree, mate. P's equal degree.
Yeah, P's a pass, right? Yeah, that's right. P's are plenty.
That's right, mate. Exactly.
No, I did pretty good. But what I really took away from the MBA, other than how riddled with nepotism and incestuous universities are, is the different calibers of people that you get, like Special Forces, when the direct entry scheme was being done, was having surgeons, cage fighters, plasterers, every sort of walk of life was coming through that at that quick entry scheme to be a commando or trooper over SAS. Same thing for university. You get so many different walks of life, different experiences, and that's what was really rewarding with the MBA. Is I got to like sit back and like just satellite an umbrella and not come in with my own bias onto people. Is to actually leverage off other people's experiences in order to do the MBA well, which I felt quite rewarding. And it was the start of the 2.0. I'll say Sophie was a 1.5, and she's probably climbed to a 7.0 now. But the study really helped, and it just showed that you may have an aptitude or a natural talent, but natural talent only get you so far. If you've got the gumption to grind and just continue on that resilience we said over an hour ago, that will overtake any natural ability whatsoever. If you're prepared to work and just continually work, take the smacks, continually work, it's going to take you far.
Well, mate, nothing in life comes without hard work and sacrifice. And, you know, doing this podcast, mate, mate, people just think you hit play.
Yeah, no, mate.
Some criticise when opportunities like last weekend are presented to meet the Governor General, and you know that's through grinding, mate. It's through 5.5, nearly 6 years of grinding.
For those of you who are listening, Adam got up at 5:30 this morning to come and see me at 10 a.m. Been in the car for 5 hours. Then after this he's going to turn around and drive 5 hours home. So. You grind.
That's right, exactly, mate. But mate, look, it's my choice. I wanted to do this where I can get to do them in person, and yours is one that I absolutely wanted to do in person. And you know, when this comes out, like next weekend, mate, I'm recording 4 in Newcastle.
Yeah,
it's just, you know, it doesn't stop. And you know, when people say, "Oh, you're so lucky," mate, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Well, the harder you work, the more work you get to.
That's right.
So watch that balance and seesaw.
Exactly. So, mate, you complete your MBA, and then in 2023, mate, you go to Invictus Games. What was that like?
That was cool. Now, Invictus Games is a weird one. It's for those damaged through service, right? Prince Harry's Games. Australia hasn't been at war now by that stage when I went in for 10 odd years, right? Hadn't been back. No, there's been no significant war-driven injuries. So we had most of the injuries. Mental health is always there. Every single person on the planet has some sort of mental health issue. So much that it's even people think they've got mental health if they don't. You know what I mean? It's that double-edged sword. The majority of injuries were that, which was really hard because you go to Invictus Games, you had a couple of people with missing limbs, someone losing their sight, an average spread of men and women. And we're going over there playing the Invictus Games, and then I remember poignantly a Colombian team to come up and do the seated volleyball. And you've got a 2-tiered trolley cage to bring all your kit and caboodle out, your spare spare kit. And they wheel theirs out, and it's got spare prosthetic limbs and things like that. It's got, whoa, Australia. They weren't even in a war environment. That's their just day-to-day life dealing with narcos.
Yeah, wow.
Just getting, you went up against a narco terrorist, have a limb chopped off. And that's their experience. And so you sit back and go, fuck, old mate's here with a sore knee, and they just didn't have a bad run in their 3 years of service. Like, everyone's experience is their own. I get that, but when you put something into when you put the A up against B, you go, come on, how hard has your life been? But everyone's experience is different. Now that was my takeaway. However, with the Invictus Games, it was a great opportunity. I'll always be happy to put my hand up for a second run. You get 2 goes at it, but I'm more than happy to have experienced it once. I got to take Kai over with a big bulbous head and just learning how to walk and run through the hotel with Sophie at the time, so they got to experience Dusseldorf with me, which was wonderful. It was a great experience. Got to meet some people. Again, got to meet different walks of life. I still chat to a few people from the Canadian Forces, Americas. What I will say to anyone sports-wise, if you ever have the opportunity to play wheelchair rugby, jump into it. Literally jump into the chair, strap your legs in, roll it hard because you can't get hurt. It is so much fun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And do you feel, mate, that it gives purpose back to veterans? Like the games are such that they're in that sense.
Hopefully, it awakens a drive for sport. Where one thing Australia excels at globally is being the punching above its weight, population-wise, in regards to sport. And I think that's being lost at the moment now with all the digital infractions and push down that we have. Like, we're being very digitally driven. Kids aren't really getting out there and going hard anymore. So with service related to service, once you get out, you've got to make your own time to play sport. Like, you don't have the Mondays, Thursdays training for Thursday sporties, right? You've got to make your own time. Then life gets in the road. The first thing that drops off is your morning PT. And if your morning PT is dropping off, you're not doing your Thursday touch footy or something with a new group of people. You've got to try and go out and create, right? So that's where Invictus Games comes in. It pushes people back into a driving factor of socialism and mental health, which is sport. And Australia is sport and competition. So that was cool. That did push a lot of people and has saved a lot of lives. It has put people back onto the straight and narrow, or just some sort of semblance of normalcy, and a bit of mental stimulation as well. Like, go and try a sport you've never done before, like archery, wheelchair rugby. Like, heck, man, like, if I go back and say, would you like to play rugby for the battalion, or would you like to play wheelchair rugby? I say, fuck running on your legs, let's run on the wheels, man. Let's have mad stacks in this exoskeleton with a stupid mindset behind driving the car. That was so much fun,
mate. Exactly. And you know, like, those days of stomping, mate, they're done. Like,
yeah,
roll now.
I've never been a tall man. I was 174 and I'm now 172 through compression of my spine and my knees. So there is not much walking to be done anymore.
No, mate, no. Those days are done, mate. And carrying heavy packs, they're done. They're done now. So, and mate, in that same year, we mentioned earlier on in the podcast, you lose your mum, and now you lose your dad.
Yeah.
What was that like? Would have been tough.
Yeah, so it was crap because it came on so quick. Like, Dad was always going to go. Loved his homebrew, loved his ciggies, so he's always going to go. But he went very, very quickly. Now, I put that down to things that 95% of society was coerced into. We'll leave that at there. But his decline was super rapid. So while I was doing my training build-up for the Invictus Games, Dad went down. Went over there, said my goodbyes, came back. And the week before, like the same weekend that we were, a week before departing to go to Dusseldorf, Dad passed away. So I called the team up at the Invictus Games, the leadership group, and you talk about fast movers. Like, for me to get a posting back when I was regularly serving to go look after my family, they couldn't make it happen for 3 months. Call up the support team at Invictus Games, said this is what's happened. They're going, no worries, Kurt, here's a flight. Here's a hotel room. You do your thing. We'll meet you in Perth because we were supposed to meet the Governor General here in Sydney, and I didn't get to do that because I had my father on my shoulder, putting him to his final resting place next to Mum. So I missed out on that opportunity, but they looked after us so well that we were in a hotel room in Perth that the rest of the Invictus cohort was coming to the next day. So got to bury Dad, got to say goodbye. Then jumped into a car, and then met the team, and then off on a plane to Germany straight after putting Dad down. So fucking resilience is a thing, man.
Yeah, it is, mate.
Everyone's more capable of what they know once they're put into that experience. But again, like, little nod to Sophie, who's away from the house at the moment. Like, if I didn't have that support network there, probably wouldn't have gotten on that plane, or if I would have gotten that plane, I would have done some dumb stuff over in Dusseldorf. Yeah.
And that is, mate, like, you know, to lose one parent's hard enough, to lose both, and I say this, young too. Like, like you know, you're 20 when you lose your mum, and you're 43 when you lose your dad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's for us, like we've experienced our parents, but for our children not to experience their grandchildren,
grandparents,
that's heartache.
It is, mate.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and like I know it myself, mate. Like, I'm going through, like, I moved to Port Macquarie to live with my mum and dad because my dad's got dementia. Mate, this is the long goodbye, and mate, it breaks my heart. Like,
it's long, hurtful, painful.
I'm watching my hero slowly fade away, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's no cure. There's no nothing. It's shit. It really is shit.
God, we're just meat suits, aren't we?
Exactly. And, you know, this is the thing that, you know, like, all these moments that your mum never got to meet your kids.
Yep.
And your kids never get to meet their grandparents.
That's the hard.
That's the hard part. And you can only telling your kids, you can only tell them memories of what you had growing up.
Yeah, but it's forgotten. Unless you've lived it, it's forgotten. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right. And it's, you know, so I do want to highlight, mate, that, you know, this is what you do as you know, you just crack on. Cool. I'm going over to the Invictus. I'm going to represent. You know, I've got this opportunity, and
it's the first time I've ever cried, like, as an adult.
Yeah, right.
I thought Dad would give me some extra strength to press 160 in the powerlifting, but he stopped me halfway. I guess so. Gave me nothing again. Thanks, Dad. But then we got in the wheelchair rugby. We got bronze, and I had a belter of a game. Like, the team did well, but personally, I had a belter. Got like 7 or 8 tries myself. Like, thumping the. I think we were playing against Germany at the time. Anyway, whatever team we were playing, we just bashed him, which we like left everything out there, and because I was so physically exhausted, my mental traps came undone, and that's when I burst into tears. Like, dealing with Dad came through then. So going through sport, you're able to overcome emotional walls, etc. And yeah, like, I'm getting a little bit choked up now.
Mate, so, take your time, mate. Take your time.
It's first and last time. So I don't even cry when my kids are born, but cried then. It's the only time Soph's ever seen me put the tear works on, the waterworks on, and yeah, I guess rightly so. Looking back, like, everything had just come to that point, and I left every single ounce I had on that court, and yeah, it all came through for the result.
As you say, mate, sports it's a wonderful, you know, like when people see their team win a grand final and they burst into tears, mate, because
Collingwood.
Yeah. Oh, mate, yeah. Hey, look, mate, I
sacrificed all these teeth for nothing.
Mate, I'm a Penrith supporter, mate. So it's been a good 4 years for us, mate. And, you know, everyone gave it to me like suck shit.
Yeah,
and
you can sit back for 20 more years now.
I just said, hey, 4 in a row, and we made 5 grand finals,
exactly.
And we were 1 win away from a grand final, and the team that beat us won the grand final.
That's right.
So you know, I look and go, hey guys,
well done on that, Mags, by the way.
Yeah.
I still reflect fondly of us training at Lift Performance Centre.
That's right. Yeah. So it's, you know, sport is a wonderful thing.
It's a good carrier.
It is, mate. It is. And for you now, what are you doing now?
Me, I'm a bored yet happy stay-at-home dad. That's my life now. We can't get our kids in a daycare because legislation said you need your kids to be vaccinated, and I'm quite open that my children aren't. And you've never met healthier more robust kids.
Yep.
Kai is a beautiful, empathetic, intelligent little 3.5-year-old boy. And young Alice, who was born this year, is yelling our roofs, our walls apart, like eating chops at 7 months, and just run hell. So, fortunately, I'm the stay-at-home dad. Unfortunately, I am the stay-at-home dad.
Yep.
Because I can't put my kids into daycare and find myself work-wise without putting all these shots into my kids, which I'm just not willing to do.
Yeah, no, fair enough, mate.
Yeah, and that is no critique to how people want to raise their kids at all. It's just that's the decision that my wife and I have made between us, with lots and lots of discussions and reading and
lots of life with the army and what.
You're getting shot with everything.
Getting shot. Oh, here's another jab.
Yeah.
Here's another jab.
If you want to go to East Timor, you got to take these mefloquine pills that the Americans created that they can't use on their own troops. So Australia, you do it and enjoy the nightmares. So little things like that, you start to look back and think back, and you do some reading of yourself, and not just a biased approach. You read everything from both sides, all sides of the fence, and this is a decision that we've made, and we're just raising our kids as healthy and as happily as we can.
Yep, and mate, I think it's mate, you've gone away and you've fought for our freedom, and it's now a choice that you get to choose how you raise your children.
Pretty crazy sacrifice, eh?
It is, mate.
I'm going to sit at home and raise my kid, and it is hard for me, man.
Oh, mate, I know you.
Hard.
I know what you're, and especially you're an SF dude that has done 13 years in Special Forces. Sitting in neutral is not. No. It's not a thing, mate. Like
it's funny. My plate carrier, so my body armour kit that I used to wear, is now a baby carrier with a quick change bottle on the front of it. Reload. That's now my plate carrier.
That's now your plate. Yeah.
Is my 7 kilo baby strapped to my chest as I take my Great Dane for a walk down the back.
That's mate, and that's the it's quite funny because we joke about it and we can, but. Recently we had Remembrance Day, and we're going a couple of final questions before we wrap up. That we're nearly there, mate, and it's been an absolute privilege to sit across from you. But we'll talk about the guys lost in a minute, but Remembrance Day was only last week or 10 days ago, and you've earned the right now to. Just through hard years of service and sacrifice to enjoy time now. It's those kinetic days are over. It is now you can enjoy your family time.
Yeah, thankfully I'm very fortunate enough to be looked after through my Com Super and DVA, that I do have a pension that I did work for, that I'm lucky to have. In saying that, DVA's got a lot of shit fights to sort through, which I've let them know about, which they can't give me an answer to because it's a government organisation, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
So that does afford me the ability to be said stay-at-home dad. And with the Remembrance Day that's just came over, I do get the ability to reflect. And Lane Cove RSL subcommittee is a very small subcommittee. I think there's maybe four of us that are under 45, and the rest are all oldies on their way out. So both Remembrance Day and Anzac Day I get to lay a wreath. Last year I got to get some miniatures and put on my son, and he got to lay the wreath with me. Like it's awesome to put that forward, and it is being taken up on the younger generation. Reflection.
That's good.
And it is a culture that we should not lose. It is heritage of where we come from, and to see certain communities and certain councils whitewashing these particular poignant moments in Australia's young juvenile history, like glossing over it. That's a disgrace, and people should be held to account for it. But
freedom's not free, mate.
It's not. It's been earned. It's been earned by the blood, sweat, and tears, and respect goes both ways.
Yep. And I want people to know that 103,000 men and women have made the ultimate sacrifice for us.
That's that's battle attributed. It's not after effects attributed. If you read between lines, what I'm saying.
I know exactly what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's
That's probably 20 times higher.
yeah, absolutely it is, mate. And you know, like we lost 61,000 in the First World War. That doesn't include the suicides into the not into the 20s, into the 30s. You know,
doesn't convey the hardships the family members, because back then they sailed to war, they didn't fly.
That's right.
So your 6-month deployment on the front was actually 3 years.
Correct. Exactly right.
So those beautiful wives and family members at home and stuff, you're coming home to full-grown children, and
that's right. You know,
we're blessed to hunt people in the era that we do, which is retarded thing to think about.
Yeah,
right?
I know, mate. It is and that's the thing that I often talk about is that decompressing. You know, you guys, that would have been a weird thing that 48 hours or 72 hours earlier when you were banging in hunting Taliban.
Yeah.
You're back and you're eating a steak at a kitchen table.
Yeah, you're sitting in a cafe flinching at every big bang, or if a plate's dropped, you flashed a bang, you're ready to go.
That's right.
If someone, I'm not saying it happened, but if someone flipped you off in the car and all of a sudden you see black and you're following this car around, to re-educate nicely this person in the error of their ways, like it takes a bit to re-assimilate.
100% it does, mate. And it's an on. You know, it's an ever-evolving thing that
hoping you don't get in a fight, but praying for the opportunity, which is a scary prospect.
100%, mate. And you know, I think that hypervigilance doesn't ever leave you. Like it's always there.
No, it does not.
Same for first responders, mate.
It does not.
It is. You know, you're always aware of your surroundings, and it's funny how so many people are blasé about their surroundings.
Yeah.
Like and especially civilians who just walk about, not a problem.
Just look at how many people are hit by buses because their noses are in their phones.
Exactly.
Well, that's natural selection.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, sorry, mate.
On that, can I just, we've been talking a lot about the Army, special ops and stuff. I just want to give a shout out to first responders, because not enough is said about what they go through. We get counselling, we get support, we get looked after, pensions if medically we need it. Fireys, ambos, nurses, paramedics,
correctional officers, yeah.
Correct, yeah. Just recently, correctional officers, some police. Wink. You guys and girls don't get looked after, and it needs to change.
It does, mate. And as a first responder, thank you, mate, because. Yeah, it definitely does need to change, because we don't, you know, when I hear, and this will sound controversial, but I'm going to say it, when I hear some veterans whinging about, you know, DVA and all this, I'll go,
You've got something.
Yeah. We've got nothing.
Yeah, be grateful.
Yeah, we have to pay for our psych appointments. We have to pay for our physio.
That's disgusting.
We have to do that, and... So when I hear some veterans, and I just say, hey, be grateful that you've got an organisation that actually says they look after you, but they do. We've got nothing. And, you know, but I think, mate, look, it may change, but because we're not federally, we come under state banners, and apart from the AFP that are federal, the rest of us are all state, and until the governments from each state get on board and start creating something, good luck. Exactly.
That's disgusting.
Exactly. So, no, thank you, mate. That I really do appreciate, and every first responder that hears this, thank you, because, we do it, mate, because we love it.
You serve.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an act of service, and not many people are committed to putting their name to paper in order to. It's a service mindset, and a lot of people have that.
Exactly.
Very very small fraction of or percentage of the community has that want to serve.
Well, we've become very much a society of, well, what can I get individually now?
Selfish.
Entitlement.
Yeah,
entitlement.
Yeah,
it's very different these days, and there's only a certain few that do choose to go down that service path. And thank you to all, you know, and I'll say it as a first responder and all veterans, thank you for your service. And
thank you, son.
Also the the mums and dads that go down to the canteen and do it of soccer clubs, or go and volunteer down at Vinnie's, or service is service, no matter what it is. So thank you. And mate, knowing what you know now and all that you've been through, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self, and would he listen?
1, don't get tattoos. Only regrets coming from those, brother. 2, stick it out. Take the experiences, learn from them, and stick it out. Just learn. Yeah. Thankfully, I didn't have a big mouth back then, so I did absorb. But you can increase the rate of absorption. Yeah. So learn.
Great advice. Any young listener out there, listen to older people. They're giving you the advice for a reason, because they've either gone through the pain that you are about to go through, or they're
listen to the lessons learned, lads and ladies. Yeah.
Exactly right. And mate, what advice would you give anyone who is thinking of joining SF or joining the army or becoming a first responder?
I'm going to repeat someone's advice here from Bram. Join with an exit plan. Me now, it's a little bit bitter, but particularly because I live in Sydney, but why would you put your life on the line for a country you can't afford to buy a house in? If that's all you've got at your fingertips, then sign up and give it your all. But take as much as what is given to, take as much from them as they take from you. So get those courses up, get those skill sets up, get those life skills up, but don't begrudge the opportunities that the Defence Force gives you in return. So a bit of quid pro quo, like you're serving them, but they're also serving you. So you hit both barrels there.
Absolutely. And mate, looking back now, you served with some amazing guys in 4 RAR Commando, now the 2nd Commando Regiment. And you lost 12 commandos killed in action, and we've mentioned, Mace in the lead up.
Turns Pete.
Yeah, yep. Turns Pete and Jason Brown as well. Mate, how do you reflect and remember all of these guys?
I'm getting to live the life they wish they had, or they could be doing. So anytime I think about, anytime I start feeling a little bit down, or there's a particular date that comes up and my bloody calendar's filled with them, obviously you just read out the names, I think about how I can best honour their memory through the day, whether it's getting out and walking in a national park or having a coffee. These bastards don't get to do that anymore. These studs, so just have that moment of reflection for them and honour them through the fact that you're thinking about them living your day-to-day life, because they don't get to do it.
Absolutely. And it's, as we've said throughout the whole podcast, mate, is they're all the good die young, mate. They really do. And I must have done some
dark stuff to still be here, brother.
Absolutely. But, mate, I think what it is too is that it's, that's why they shall grow not old. They are the age that they are etched in forever. Like, Luke today, he's 26 forever.
Yes.
He, and it's
the start of his life. And
you said your birthday, mate. You've now outlived your mum's age. That is you. These
doesn't
things,
make sense.
Yeah, it's like that's why we say the ode. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them. And that's what it is, mate. And so
it shall ever be.
Exactly. And they died serving their country, and they give us the freedom that we have today. And it's
higher ups, you should be thinking about this.
Exactly. There's a reason that the Parliament House looks to the. It's supposed to look like
which
leaders
one?
look towards
which
the,
one?
Both look to the War Memorial, because that's the service and sacrifice that you that you send these guys and girls to war, and these actions have consequences.
That old Vietnam soldier that was interviewed from America was, "Have you got anything to say back home?" Is don't send your sons and daughters to war because of the decisions of a politician. Yeah.
Exactly. Mate, well said. So, mate, with everything you've been through and looking back with 20 years service, I'm going to say, you know, that 19 and a half, 20 years.
We'll say
service.
20.
Yeah, 20 years. Was joining the army, apart from marrying Soph and having kids, was that the best decision of your life?
Well, no, not a part. That's brought me to where I am.
Yeah.
I literally married a Disney princess, man. How many people can say that? No, I was in a country town. There were not many aspects for me. High school dropout. It served a purpose, and it served a great purpose. Unfortunately, I didn't fully appreciate it because I was 17 when I joined. I wouldn't change a thing. Even with the guys that we've lost, you can't change that effect. But through that, I'm where I am here today. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Of course, you don't want anyone to be in the dirt. But if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have broken. I wouldn't have been rebuilt by Sophie. I wouldn't be here chatting to you across the table, making you beautiful, sticky Aldi coffee to sip on, right? So we are an outcome of our experiences lived.
Yep. And
would I change anything? No.
Oh, mate, that's well said. And, mate, looking back now, if you can answer this, was the mission to fight the war on terror a success, looking back now, or...?
It's only a success as long as the success is maintained, and through the leadership of previous governments, it was let go. So no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't at all. The only people that win is the war machine, mate. The ones that build and make the bombs.
I recently had a chat with one of the, I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about that they see that the 20 years that you guys were in the theatre, that, you know, you took a lot of dead shits off the face of this earth that were going to spread out and harbour attacks on civilians. He said, so yes, I do see it as we did, you know, we got rid of a lot of bad dudes from this earth, and I'm absolutely fuck yeah,
who you are,
absolutely, like they're pieces of shit.
And on that.
You gave generations, mate, a different way of life for 20 years. They could go to school, they could go to university, they could see Afghanistan as a different semi-safety, like not really, but yes, but now it's gone back to what it was, if not worse.
And that's why I said that maintenance of success there, because they took their foot off and pulled out. But you've got to pull out. You've got to let the country look after itself. And unfortunately, when you're medievally focused in education and lifestyle, nothing's going to change. So enjoy school, kids, because they don't have it.
Exactly. So, mate, looking back now and going forward into the future, what are your plans moving forward with Sophie and the kids?
Oh, well, I'm on all these Facebook sites of buying properties in France and Italy, so who knows, might buy a chateau or a guitar over there and like learn how to become a stonemason and constantly fix up my own house at 50, who knows. No. Be the supportive father, be the best father I can. Don't take this second opportunity for granted because I lost my first one. Be the best husband I can, which requires a significant amount of patience from my wife. Good luck. And who knows, mate. I honestly don't know what I can do, where I can do. So all I can do is concentrate on what I have right in front of me, and that's the household and my family. Absolutely. So that's what I'm doing. No,
great, mate. And mate, how do people get in contact with you if they want to chat to you? And...
On the book face. Just look at the socials, get me through there. Anyone that I need to know personally has my number already. Anyone that does want to get to know me, I'll significantly vet you before you get the tick.
Yes, mate. Yes, no, definitely. And, mate, it's just, what a story. It's just been epic. I think we've spoken for 3.5 hours. It's just gone like that. And, you know, mate, I thank you for giving up your time away from Sophie and the bub, and, you know, like, mate, it's just to sit with you and get your story recorded for history, because this is what it is.
Thank you.
It's captured.
That's amazing.
It's captured forever.
Yeah.
Like, your grandkids can look back in 20 years and go, oh, what did Pop was what did he do?
Yeah,
like,
our grandkids would be going, what's a podcast?
Probably.
Isn't that old?
Yeah,
It's like us looking back at LPs.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
damn it.
Oh, mate, what the world is going to be in 20 years, who knows? Like, yeah.
Podcast, what Granddad used to listen to.
Yeah, yeah, but no, mate, it's captured for history, and mate,
great.
You've served your country with honour and brought pride to your family. Your story is one of true grit, determination, having the courage to be brave and test yourself and succeed at the elite level. And there's a quote that I want to finish with, mate, that I feel sums you up. Perseverance is the secret of all triumphs. It's part of Special Forces training. You're taught to come up with a solution, not look for excuses, and without warning, you strike. Kurt, I believe this quote sums you up. I want to thank you for your service to our country, and I appreciate you coming on True Blue and sharing your story, mate. It's been an absolute honour and privilege, so thank you.
Thanks very much, Adam.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for listening to True Blue Conversations with your host, Adam Bloom. Real talk with those that pledge to keep us safe with grit, sacrifice, and determination. See you next time.